Death Metal Podcast. This is a special edition on a Monday. We're going to do interviews, sometimes not on Fridays and Saturdays. We're going to do them on Mondays even. So this is going to be a special interview edition of Death Metal Podcast like we promised for the future. We're trying to move towards playing music occasionally, but I want to move towards interviews. I want to talk. I want bands to be on screen talking about their fucking their brutal stuff that they made, you know? So tonight we're gonna have Torture Rack and Witchvomit. They share some members, and this is Death Metal Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're live on Facebook now and Twitch, and here we go, man. Alright, here we go. So this is Death Metal Podcast on a Monday, which is unusual for us, obviously, because normally you see us on a Saturday or Friday or Saturday. So tonight, or this afternoon, or wherever country you're in, we did this. We wanted to do an interview with some people we met at shows, basically, because I hit the street when it comes to death metal. So like, I'm not just behind the camera talking like, check out this cassette, you know? Like, I hit the street and go to shows and try to do things that I can, you know? If it's in, you know, I live in a X amount of proximity of New York City, so there's fucking 3 shows a week there. So tonight, you know, along the way, I had talked with the band Torture Rack about making some shirts or whatever. And then as our death metal podcast watchers started going to shows with Skeletal Remains and seeing Torture Rack open up, a lot of people were saying like, yo, I just went to see Torture Rack. Yo, the Torture Rack show I just went to was sick. So it reciprocated on the West Coast, maybe, starting or something. And then like people were talking about it on Death Metal Podcast in the chat. So when I seen this stuff coming closer to my house, which was the proximity of 3 hours and something, or 3 hours and 45 minutes or something, I don't know. I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking hit this show, and I'm going to go to see Torture Rock. I want to see them live, because there was just too much talk about it in the chat, man. So basically, I figured, why don't I do this and show up, and then Roy is the death metal smerbazoda that makes death metal eggs begin. Thank you. Torture Rack is the best modern death metal band, no brainer. So we have the guys from Torture Rack in the green room. They requested only red M&Ms covered with blood. And then tonight we'll do an interview where it'll be with Torture Rack, and then actually a week later the tour had switched, and then it became Witchvomit, which the bands share some members of Witchvomit and Torture Rack. So tonight our interview will be focused on Torture Rack and Witchvomit, and then I'll try to bring out as much details as I can about the old days, the new days, everything, man. The releases. We're going to talk about death metal. We're going to talk about Death Metal Podcast, you know? The Weekend Warriors Unite. You're welcome, man. I mean, this is our show to talk shit And hopefully everybody enjoys like a Monday Night Wrestling. Remember, wasn't that what they had, Monday Night Wrestling, or it was football? Anyway, so here we go. Tonight, the episode is the Torture Rack Witchvomit fucking death metal podcast. So we have the guys from Torture Rack and Witchvomit. So to the left of your screen is Tony, and to the right, JG. And then we have their pets too, or they're going to be part of the show. So there we go. Yeah, Witchvomit. What's up, Chris Herrera? What's up, everybody that tunes into Death Metal Podcast? So I know you guys want the interviews. You know what I mean? Listen to some Torture Rack today for the occasion. So did I, man. You know. So we have both. We have guys that play in both bands. Let me ask you, you guys up first. Like, maybe I'll start with you, Tony. Like what I should probably ask, like, what brought you two guys together first?
I think we met pretty much when I agreed to be in Torture Rack.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. I had heard of Witchvomit and actually did a review of their demo for Dylan's zine and liked him. And then Pierce was out of town for a while and couldn't play guitar, and we were just fucking around, and Seth was like, hey, I know this dude Tony that plays guitar, let's try him out, because we had tried a few people out and it didn't work out.
Okay.
So
yeah, cool. So I got together with Seth, and he like taught me a few of the songs, and then I think I met Jason pretty much like the first time we all jammed together.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's cool. So you met with the drummer and like jammed out some songs a little bit just to get a feel for each other.
We brought him over to the jam space and got practicing, and worked out right away.
Does Witchvomit practice near? Do you guys practice at two different spots, basically?
No, we share the same spot.
And now you do, or I'm saying back then.
What's that?
Where did you practice back then?
We jammed in Seth and Dylan's basement.
Okay.
And yeah, we had a little jam room set up in there.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I think shortly after that, we all just moved into the same spot.
All right. So, and then you guys live, it's like semi close to each other, and is there like a decent kind of scene or group of people, or the same 10 people that are all the death metalers?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's how it all started. It was just a kind of a group of us, and we all were starting different bands and kind of went from there.
Yeah. And obviously Witchvomit been around a little longer than Torture Rack?
Like a year longer, probably.
That's it?
Yeah, maybe 2. I mean, we were a bit younger, so Vinny and I were kind of already playing like all age, like house shows and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I think Jason, you were already, 20 something. So he was already going to bar shows, and I wasn't able to yet. So we were,
right. I know the type. You're not old enough to get in the club, but you can play the club type, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I wasn't able to go to all the cool shows, but we would play like our little punk house shows and shit, and that's kind of how we started.
Okay. And that was the roots of, well, really, let me ask back, how did you really start to get into playing music in general? I'll start with you.
Me?
Yes, you. Yeah, how did you first start to get into, like, music, and then maybe the progression towards, like, either thrash or heavy metal or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, well, I started, like, super young on piano when I was a little kid, and I always liked music. But then that didn't last very long. That was just kind of like a, grade school thing that my parents had me do. And then when I was like 13, I was getting way more into like heavy metal and punk. So I actually picked up guitar by myself and started practicing. And I pretty much just went into it head first and learned like, Metallica, Black Sabbath.
Right.
Black Flag, stuff like that.
Okay.
Started writing like little thrash songs, and I had a group of like other school friends that I would jam with. We'd learn songs. And then after years of doing that, like actually started taking the band thing seriously.
Right. So it could be you started to notice maybe the underground at that stage?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to shows like as soon as I could, like 14, 15,
Okay.
going to like every punk or metal show that was all ages or at a bigger club that I could go to.
Just walking around like a young buck that didn't even play, just played his first fucking guitar, Metallica shit type, and then you're just like a fan, kind of off to the side,
Getting my ass kicked in the pit by older dudes. Wearing the wrong t-shirts.
I can completely understand, and I agree, and I've been with that scene too,
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, and the more I started going to shows, the more I realized like that's just kind of what I wanted to do. So as soon as I was able to, start playing, that's what we did, and we never stopped.
All right, so what's JG's origin story? Like, how did you get down with the first music and heavy metal step up?
Let's see. Well, my mom kind of got me into classic rock shit. She, my parents didn't really like the heavy stuff too much, but she liked some bands that I liked, and so I just got into that stuff, and then kind of progressed into some heavier stuff, and then like basic metal, Sabbath, Judas Priest, shit like that. And then got into some punk stuff and boy music. And
what age would you say you were?
Oh, I was probably like 12, 13.
Okay.
And from there, I discovered, from like the punk stuff, I discovered like some more extreme bands. And
grindcore?
Yeah, like I heard Napalm Death, and that was kind of a gateway band. And then the first real death metal song I heard was Dead by Dawn by Deicide.
Okay.
I was like, shit, horror movies and metal, like, kind of, that shit drew me in, man.
Yeah. I mean, they seem like they went hand in hand for all of us when we were younger, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just the imagery of all that shit just kind of appealed to me right off the bat,
Yeah, so, and then as far as you with your instrument, or...
Yeah, so originally I wanted to play guitar, and I was in middle school, and they had like a jazz band, and I was looking for any excuse to play guitar in the school, right? Just to do something different. And so I was like, hey, can I play guitar? And he's like, no, you got to be in the concert band for like a year. And I was like, fuck. But so I did that. And then the next year I was like, hey, can I play guitar now? And he was like, well, we don't need a guitarist, we need a bassist. And so he gave me a bass, and I learned that pretty quick. And I would play, at school, and then I'd go home and practice my metal shit.
Okay, so eventually you picked up your own bass and shit?
Yeah. So I was like 12 years old, and then I just, I learned a lot of techniques from playing in the school, and learned my way around the instrument. And then go home and play the punk or metal shit, and just start.
Do you guys live very close to each other?
That or which point? Now or then?
So I grew up in Arizona.
Okay.
And I moved to Portland when I was 19.
Okay. So I was going to ask, did you buy your equipment at the same music stores, or you know what I mean?
This was way before that. He was
okay.
Yeah, he was probably like 5 years old or something.
I like to shoot those little stupid facts on here for some weird reason, because like in a weird way, Death Metal Podcast is a history fucking lesson for all of us. Not just for the people that watch it. It's for all of us, and then it's also a document of time for you guys too. You know what I mean? So there's really no one out there that like gives a fuck about the bands. They want to put their top 10 lists up and they're pump their fucking labels asses, and then you know what I mean, and then they're out of there. But for me, I want to put, names behind the bands, faces and stories, and like, you know what I mean? Just stupid shit, man. Like, instrument stuff and record stores and, you know what I mean? Things, the connections that you guys made to start the fucking band, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I mean, I think it's important news, and I think that the people that watch death metal podcasts are, they definitely want to, what do you call it? Yeah, Mick Harris loves his experimental. He does have a lot of experimental boxes there, right?
Yeah.
He was when I watched him, he was sticking a piece of fucking cord in a lettuce, actually, and he was like, let me check the sound.
He hates the lettuce.
Yeah, he's like, oh, lettuce. I don't know what that represents. Does that represent a Napalm Death member or something?
I think it's like posers.
Oh, okay.
Lettuce.
Right.
There's no substance to it. I'm just guessing, but that's what my.
Yeah, because I seen him sticking a cord inside a lettuce. He's like, let me check for a signal. He's like, oh, no signal, no signal. He had a romaine lettuce on his fucking board.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, he would make an excellent comedian, actually, if you really think about it.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
He is. And then, all right, so somebody has a question we would probably ask later, but Mark Riddick checking in. He said, how was it working with Rock on the new album art? Love his style and some of his originals.
It was sick, man. Like, I just thought his artwork would be the perfect compliment. Yeah, I always liked his art. It was all spiky and just kind of matched the aesthetics of the band. And
this is the artwork.
I got a hold of him through Dylan, Headsplit, and just messaged him, and I was like, "Hey, man, can you do the art?" And he was down. So that's how
and it has the typical Rock style because it got the spikes in there. You know what I mean?
I told him, I was like, "Hey, man, I want like a Orgasmatron type cover, like some Motorhead shit, like something's coming at you, gonna fucking run over your ass,
Yeah, and it has a lot of good color schematic here, and it definitely looks death metal as fuck,
Yeah.
So, did he do it as like a painting?
He sent me some rough sketches and then just kind of showed me that, and I was like, that works, man.
Okay, cool.
I don't know exactly how he did it, but yeah.
Right. That's definitely, like you could kind of feel the Rock style on it too, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just something about the spiking.
Yeah. We were very serious about the spikes because there was like such a trend of like gooey shit that wasn't really defined in any way.
Not very brutal shit.
Just kind of like, here's a blob of gelatinous mess. And all kind of look the same. We're like, we need something like violent and spiky.
A little more metal.
Like, yeah, something metal and actually like, that you can make out what's going on.
Do you guys ever find that there's like a issue to say like, well, this is, I'm writing something for Witchvomit, I'm writing something for Torture Rack?
Not really. Like, I feel like nowadays they're pretty different. Maybe like back when we were.
I think they're different. I'm just curious from your standpoint.
When we were first starting, maybe there was like a little bit more crossover about like what could be for what band. But
okay.
I feel like we've been pretty good about keeping them separate. And like Torture Rack is way more like collaborative. Like at one time, 4 of us would write riffs. Now all 3 of us do.
Okay.
So, we never had an issue of like running out of riffs to use.
Right.
But there's probably, a couple here or there that could go for either band.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just curious about that.
Yeah.
What's up, Nick Camos? This is a big fan. There's a lot of big fans in the chat here. I know you guys are, they were psyched to see the show coming on, and so cheers to California, I believe, Texas, Peru, I forget, or Colombia, or Chile.
Leslie.
Yeah, I think Chile. And then we have Discuss Store in the chat.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And then it should be a capital offense that Medic Fanny Packer isn't in the chat right now. I think he's working.
Yeah, we need Pat.
Yeah. You need another guitarist for live shows? Maybe Vinny?
Maybe Dylan.
Yeah, maybe Dylan.
Dylan hasn't seen it yet with the new guitar setup, so.
Right. And I think I saw different sets. Like, I saw, when I saw you guys live back in October, you were playing as a 3-piece.
Yeah.
But I've seen you guys as a 4-piece incarnation also.
What was that?
Torture Rack or
For
Witchvomit?
Torture Rack.
No, we've been a 3-piece for the last like 3 years almost.
Okay. You're
But
only
so-
a 3-piece?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
recently
Alright.
we're running two guitar stacks on each side. So he's
Okay.
got a splitter, so it makes it heavier.
Right. Okay, cool. Maybe I was looking at the wrong thing. Oh, Paraguay. Sorry.
Oh shit! You're
Gotta
cursed.
give a shout out to our Paraguayan death metal freaks.
Yep.
You sick bastard. JG, you sick bastard. What's your favorite Saint Vitus album? People are gonna just throw wild shit in the chat sometimes while we talk here.
Healing.
Die Healing?
Healing.
Okay. I'm more of a first album guy myself. Which, would they consider that the self-titled, or they consider that the, I don't know.
Yeah, first one self-titled. I like I like all Saint Vitus. I like V. I like Born Too Late. I like it all.
Right. The tour came through was amazing. Lineup of killer death metal. Being able to play the show in Orlando with you guys was a true gem. Which shows showed up the best for you guys? Vacuous Depths. All right, and he said he's got the Vacuous Depths record there.
Orlando was really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Let's see. New York? Is it New York?
Albany. Yeah, the two you came to were both awesome. Like Worcester was maybe my favorite show.
Yeah, that was a pretty bumped out show, man. I was pretty surprised that I don't know. I go into every show now expecting it to be like 1990 where there's going to be 40 people. But now I go and I'm like, holy fuck, there's like 240 people here, you know?
Yeah. No, it was killer. I mean, most of them were good. Albany, Worcester, Chicago was really good.
Right.
I mean, most of the places you'd expect, like LA and New York. But
Right.
yeah, I think Worcester was the surprise like killer show for me.
And just to put a perspective on what happened, you guys did one half of the tour as Torture Rack, and then you guys share members of Torture Rack, and then the drummer, I guess, had to go home or left or something.
Yeah.
And then you guys switched, and then the tour became Witchvomit as the the main support, or the supporting acts, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys get like a dual fucking thing out there, which I think is good for both bands in a weird way, you know.
Yeah, it was cool. It worked out. I mean, initially, like, we got asked to just both do the whole thing, and we weren't really up for doing double duty for a whole month. That's insane.
Yeah, I quit my job to do that damn tour.
You did?
But they hired me back right away. So
Okay. See, they needed you, so.
Yeah.
What's up, SJ11 Morbid? How's it going?
What's up?
Yep, we got Witchvomit tonight, and then you know, like as I mentioned before, anyone that is a normal death metal podcast watcher or not, you know, like I want to try to move towards a few more interviews with death metal podcasts because I feel like there's a lot to be talked about that's like it doesn't make it to Metal Archive, you know what I mean? It doesn't make it to fucking Discogs.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and also bands, you know, like I don't want, how would I put this and be nice about it? Like I don't, you know, like bands, like a PR service is only going to do so much for you, man. They're just going to show pictures of your fucking album and say, this sounds like this, and then buy it, you know? Where, you know, like I want this show to be like a PR situation in a weird way, but a more like natural one, like a conversation, you know? That way I could just talk to you guys, even though I talk to you at your own show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could talk to you on here, and then everyone else could fucking watch it, and a couple people, I'll let them chime in, and you know what I mean?
yeah, I haven't done any interviews besides Dylan, Zine, and a few random ones. So
Right. So this is your first video interview, right? Well, that's why I was doing this too, because I realized I'm like, well, there's like a gap in representation for the underground, basically. You know what I mean? It's either you become totally fucking unknown, you have mid-level, you know, you have like mid where like the band has like a bunch of releases, both bands have tons of releases, But yet, you know, they are not rich, so they can't pump their own ass into the fucking ecosphere.
I mean,
And
that's
then-
cool with me. I kind of like some of my favorite bands are like something that I had to kind of work to find, and it's
Right.
like a well kept secret.
Exactly.
And that's what I always wanted our shit to be like. Like,
Okay.
not to be pumping our shit in everybody's face, like,
Yeah.
buy our albums, buy our
Well, the
albums.
music's gonna do the talking no matter what.
Yeah,
You know?
that's what I was gonna say. If it's good, I think people eventually will find it, and if they like
Yeah.
it, that's cool. But I'm not trying to shove it in people's face all day.
Yeah.
Every
Well, I am. So that's the difference.
Well,
so
thanks.
I bring. That's why I am. So I bring you guys on to say like, hey, you fucking motherfuckers who never heard this, come check it out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I
Well, we
read the
appreciate
Witchvomit interview in the Metal Execution zine.
All right,
That's a good one.
good zine.
Interview Gutalex. I wouldn't mind that at all. You know, they're cool. I mean, I think they used to be. One of them used to be a customer, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
Is there any bands these dudes would love to tour with?
We're touring with Undergang in a couple months. Torture Rack and Undergang, which is something we've been trying to do forever. So
Right.
that'll be sick. Come out
This-
to that if you're on the East Coast.
This is the flyer for the shows too. So you're playing North American Regurgitation Part 2, March and April, and then it starts in March at the end of March in Raleigh, and then New York at the Meadow, Cambridge at the Middle East, Baltimore, Cleveland, Indianapolis, Chicago, and Lexington, Kentucky. So this is the tour, Undergang and Torture Rack. So we
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Promote.
There's a lot of bands that we would like to tour with, but some of it's hard to line up. It's hard to get, everyone on the same page and
Right.
availability. We all work day jobs and shit like that. So
I get it, man.
we try to be picky and get with good bands. So
No, I get that too. I mean, you want to play with bands that you feel you like and of your caliber, probably. You know what I mean? And then
yeah, like that Skeletal tour, that was Torture Rack's real first tour ever. I mean,
Okay.
we've done a couple 3-show runs here and there, but not much touring.
okay, you were mostly played like local shows, and not even play California, right? Just do like
No, we-
Seattle
we-
and Portland,
we did like 3 shows in California years back with Cadaveric Incubator.
okay. And then also you guys ended up playing in Killtown, if I'm not incorrect, right?
Yeah, we did. That was like, I mean, we've done like weekend warrior fly out shit, but
Okay.
not any like long tours until then. But yeah, Killtown was like pretty early on, I guess.
Well, that's pretty cool that you got to play something so early on in your death metal career. You know what I
That
mean?
was like the last one that David was involved with, and it was fucking awesome. That was
Yeah.
like the sickest fest.
Yeah, that was a good time.
The lineup was ridiculously like.
A real shit show.
Yeah,
When I look back at shit like that, I'm just like, would you have any time to breathe or eat or do anything during this fucking show? It looks like no, because
pretty
like
brutal. You just party. Party
yeah,
and
just
walk.
one band after another, and if you even go to take a shit, you probably missed one of your favorite bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you end up missing, some of them. But that one, it was like that lineup was insane. It was hard to not try and see everything.
What's up, Aaron? What's up, Madrid? Any plans for coming back to Austin Death Fest? Show was amazing.
No plans yet.
plans.
That was a good-
Cadaveric Incubator is sick.
Yeah.
My last show was in Seattle at the Northwest Terror Fest 2023. Torture Rack and Hellshock were the headline
Oh, yeah.
highlights. Cool.
That was a good time too.
Yeah. So I mean, and do you guys feel like you flourish more as a live band versus a studio?
I think with Torture Rack, yeah, I think we kind of win people over live.
Right.
I have a lot of fun playing it live. Like, it's just headbangable, like brutal shit. So I feel like if you like death metal, it would be hard to.
Shorter songs, I noticed with
Yeah.
the band, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of bands have 7-minute songs, and you guys were playing like 2-minute songs.
Yeah,
1
I mean,
minute.
hey, if you're going, if
I
you're
know.
going
1
hard,
minute.
I'm not gonna go for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing 1-minute songs, exactly. What's up, Paul? How's it going, man? Thank you for everyone that's tuning in to Death Metal Podcast tonight. So all 45 of you that are logged in, I appreciate you. Obviously, like I didn't announce things too early, so what do you call it? It's cool that you guys show up when I do a fucking interview. You know what I mean? So thank you. I appreciate the people that support Death Metal Podcast. You know. Yeah, it was Unreal and Heavy in Orlando. You were saying, and then let's see what else here. I think this was the Dylan zine, right? You did it. Okay. Interview with them. Is Vinny best on drums with hair or bald?
I think he's faster bald.
Okay, he plays a little faster when he's bald.
Yeah, aerodynamic. Mohawk is probably the best.
Yeah, man. Carpenter Corpse, what's up, brother? You all killed in Oakland last year, a fucking ripper.
Right on.
Eric Bloom, hell yeah, Roy, total support. Yeah, man, me and Eric Bloom were watching you guys in Mass, if I remember correctly. It was the first time I met him beyond online, and to me, that's something. That the underground, you connect with these people through screen names on Instagram, and some Facebook names. You know what I mean? And then you go to a show, and it's like. Like personally, unless they show a lot of photos of themselves, I don't know shit from their elbow, But like, if they, if they show some photos of themselves, or I'm interested in what they collect, or their lifestyle looks interesting, or whatever, or they try to talk to me, then I'm like, oh, I remember this motherfucker, like. But then you reach a weird like point where they're like, I have a record label, so they say Necroharmonic, but then they're like, I'm blankety blank 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 name from fucking Instagram, and I'm just like, yo, what's your real name?
Yeah, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, like please tell me your real name so I can, I want to feel the fucking connection.
Who the hell are you?
And I think it's cool to meet them. That's the apex. So it's like, it's cool to be like, fuck yeah, you're fucking real,
That's as real as it gets. I mean,
yeah.
Shit, you pulled up to that gig, and I saw you in the parking lot. We walked up to each other right away,
I know. That was cool. And then, like I gelled with your band, like, boom, you know what I mean? Which is rare. Sometimes people are dicks. I mean, or they're just like, I'm too busy to talk right now, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
but you guys were chilling. It was Seth's birthday actually during the whole thing there,
Yeah, I'm sick.
Which made you guys made me come out of my box and drink a beer with you guys because I wasn't even drinking at that stage. Well, and also the cheap beers at that fucking bar, yeah. And the fucking bologna sandwiches or whatever the fuck they were playing,
Yeah.
There was a lot of good records last year, but Funeral Sanctum was absolutely one of my favorites. It made my 2024 album of the year. Right. And you know what? We could show something on here on Death Metal Podcast. This is the unedited version without the logo of the cover of this album, too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it's blue glory.
I was going to ask, you got Blue Castles, like an old Morbid fucking record here. Did you put that into the mix?
Exactly, December Moon and Sacramentum Dissection.
Okay, so you were purposely saying like, hey, we want something that has a vibe, with the blue and everything.
We've done red, we've done green. It's time to do blue.
Right, and then also I noticed, primarily with say, let's start with like say Witchvomit. I mean, primarily you've done releases like with like $20 spin more recently. And then you've done stuff with like, Memento Mori might have put out one of your things, and then also Head Split Records, and then Torture Rack also with Head Split Records, and then $20 spin and stuff. So you guys are keeping it in like a small little family of things, and I'm assuming Head Split first, obviously, and eventually $20 spin kind of picked up where they were doing colored vinyls and like.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've known Dylan forever, and he pretty much was starting Head Split like when both the bands were starting out. So he put out both of our demos, and Memento Mori did like the first Witchvomit full length, and then I just wanted somebody that would like put out LPs.
Right.
And Tim Parasitic did the first one.
Oh, Tim, fuck yeah. Hell, Tim.
But once we did the EP in 2016, the Webs of Horror, or no, sorry, Poison Blood.
Okay.
And I just wanted someone to like put it out on vinyl, and I like $20. Like he put out some local band like Bone Sickness, which I thought was cool, and some other shit, Vastum and
Right.
Coffins. So I figured, you know,
Eventually fetid, I believe.
yeah, a little later on.
A little later on.
I just knew he was a local guy, and I liked his shit, and he, put out the first one, and he's super cool to work with, awesome guy. So we just stuck with him.
Yeah, you guys good promotion, you know, and he, you know, definitely, you know, shout out to homie that collaborated my post, because sometimes the record labels are like, fuck yourself. So,
yeah, he's a good dude.
It's cool to have, like, you know, some type of reciprocation that I'm, you know, I don't go on here to self-promote, really. I go on here to talk about death metal. So, like, when the record labels pick up on that and they want to be involved with it, to me, that's even more exciting, because I'm like, oh, you guys give a fuck about this band? Good, I give a fuck too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we stuck with him. He's always got our back, so.
Good. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
And Dylan too, man, I'm sure, you know?
Definitely. Always.
What's up, Chris Grant? Thank you for joining us, brother. Are you the one that vomited on the God fucking statue in Hartley's? Putrid Tomb is underrated. Roy, waiting for my gorgeous splatter copy of Torture Rack.
Sick.
So you know what? We're going to play a song or something. What's up, Minced Absurdities? How's it going? Short-haired metal for life. So let's play a song. So we played... what did we play? Witchvomit? To open up the show? I don't even fucking remember. We can go into my own video. This is... Let's see how long this is. No, it's too short.
I'll play something on the boombox if you want.
No. It won't sound right. Trust me. All right, let me see. I think this is a video I taped. I don't know if I've ever showed this on Death Metal Podcast, so... Nope. Wrong band. Wrong band.
Hold on.
That was the wrong band. So let me see here. Would this be it? I don't know. Wrong band. Those are the bands you toured with, though. Damn it. That lighting.
There.
So here we go, though. Let's see. I got other shit here. This is Torture Rack live at Killtown Death Fest. So you played in 2018. You barely had any fucking releases out at this stage, but yet you played Killtown.
I think we had like 2 albums.
We had 2 albums out.
Torture Rack had 2 albums?
It was getting, it was...
Or maybe this one was about to come out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We hadn't done a lot. So
I mean, we had been around for 6 years already, I think.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the past, and then we're going to play this. Yeah. right, so that was live at the Killtown Death Fest in 2018. So what song were you guys playing there?
Festering Castration.
Okay. And do you guys have any kind of specific songs, or I can't only just judge on my own Spotify thing, But do you have any specific songs that you like find yourself playing like every Torture Rack? Do you find yourself playing like every show? You're like, well, the people want this.
Probably Chamber Morbidity, Coven Crusher, Bound in Feces.
Okay.
Bit like that.
Yeah, you have shorter songs, so you could fit 3 songs in the space of like a regular band's like epic fucking 9-minute black metal song, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, man. I mean, not too many bands could do that,
Yeah, I think we got a 13-song set list for the tour coming up, and I'm sure it's only 30 minutes long.
Right. And what about Witchvomit? I mean, the songs are obviously just a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, a little bit. No, we kind of changed it up recently. I feel like for a few years we would play certain songs like at every show, like Doomed in the Realm of the Dead, Deep in the Bottomless Grave, a couple like that. But after a while, I just got so sick of playing them that we kind of shifted to like most songs from the new albums and then some more like deep cuts and older stuff.
Okay. Oh, a unique cut from the older stuff. I like that, actually.
I mean, just we have a lot of music, so it's like we don't need to play the same 8 songs. Like,
right.
Whatever the fuck we want to play.
That's cool.
You want to write songs that you like. That way, you're just playing any song is fun to play.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. I mean, but as a fan, say I'm a fan of your second record, and I like a deep fucking cut. Like I like that 8th song. I go to a show and I see that fucking song played. I'm like, fuck yes, dude. I don't want to hear the first song at every show.
Yeah. Well, since we don't tour that much, we kind of just wanted to play our kind of an older set.
Of course.
But generally for local shows, we'll change it up more because they've heard a lot of this shit. So we'll throw in the newer ones or that kind of thing.
Relearn some old.
Yeah, we got to relearn some old ones.
Yeah. Most bands, I notice they have to kind of relearn some of their own fucking music, huh?
Yeah, I mean that definitely happens if you haven't played it in 5 or 6 years, but we're pretty good about remembering what we did. But I don't know. It's cool. It's fun to like bust out some old song you haven't played for forever.
Also, you guys, both bands have a pretty fucking lush ass production. Are you guys all using the same like studio or mastering or engineer or what's going on there? Because I definitely feel like kind of the same kind of.
Witchvomit, we've used the same guy for everything since our first demo.
Okay.
And he did 2 things with Torture Rack too. He did the first album and the Pit of Limbs EP.
All right.
And then we've done like Charlie Corin did an album for us, and then the most recent Torture Rack was this guy Shannon. Who we were gonna get Evan, the guy who does most of our stuff, but he couldn't make it, so we went with kind of a random guy, and it worked out. He did a good job. But yeah, we try and stick with the same kind of group of people.
Who's the studio, or does he have a studio name for the guy who you did all the Witchvomit stuff with?
Yeah, it's Red Lantern Studio in Portland.
Right. In Portland? Yeah. Is there a lot of studios out in Portland and where you guys live?
Yeah, there is now, for sure.
There used to be only like a couple to choose from, it seemed like, but a lot of dudes have gotten more into recording and setting up studios now.
Yeah.
Right. And what do you guys think about like the bedroom studioist versus like the pro motherfucker who's like in the game?
I mean, as long as it sounds heavy, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done stuff that way and it sounds rad, so
okay.
You can make it work. Totally.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, I gotta ask these questions on here. That's what fucking makes death metal podcasts, Like I try to take this from a fan's point of view no matter what, because I am a fan anyway. But the thing is, like, I want not only me, but I want, like, the people that are watching the show to, like, understand the dynamics behind either the recordings or, You know, because you guys, like I said, there's like a lot of very like lush, pretty lush, heavy production, but
That's
not
kind of why we
not overly produced either. You know.
Yeah, that's kind of why we stuck with that guy. I mean, Evan, the dude who's recorded all of our stuff, like he was kind of a punk dude, not really a metal guy, and
Right.
I knew him somewhat from shows, and I knew he had a studio, so we just kind of tried it out because it was located inside the record shop that we like to go to. And
Okay.
the first thing we did, we told him we want it to sound kind of like Entombed and Dismember. And he's not a metal guy, but he like knew exactly what to do. He's like, oh yeah, Sunlight Studio. He's like, I've got this Marshall you can use. We'll put the HM2. We'll mic things this way. And like he nailed that first one. So ever since then, we're like, yeah, fuck it. We like it. He's a good guy, and we're like comfortable there. So it's not like a stressful thing to record.
Right. If we go back in deep time, though, like what was this? The first Witchvomit release, rehearsal, 2012?
Yeah, I recorded that on a 4-track.
Okay.
Yeah, and that picture I sent you of me in the room, that was me doing the vocals.
That was you doing this? Okay. Yeah, we'll have to show that in a second. So this was your very first release, you would say?
Yeah. And
Death Metal Podcast, I always go back to like your deepest, worst playing, obviously. Not that this is bad playing. I'm just saying. People think they think of themselves as the worst player on the earliest shit. You know.
We had to record that twice. The first one I did. This guy that we hung out with, who was like a harsh noise guy. He was like, "I'll release the tape, dude, and I'm gonna like do this art, and it's gonna have like a picture of an angel with this halo of dicks above it." I'm like, I don't know about that. So, put it out, and we gave him the tape that we recorded, and he was like super stoned and recorded over it.
Oh shit!
And then I think shortly after that, I had talked to Dylan, and he said he would release it. So we just re-recorded the whole thing, gave it to Dylan, and thankfully it happened that way. Because otherwise,
Right, but that was your first rehearsal demo that you put out there, made copies, passed around to shows, whatever.
Yep.
The first step into like the underground,
Yeah, totally.
What about for Torture Rack? Did they go through like a demo phase, or was that straight to?
No, we recorded some rehearsals, but the songs weren't complete. Like I had changed the lyrics and shit, but that first Torture Rack demo is the first one, and we recorded that in the basement.
Right.
And I thought it turned out pretty good.
Which is this right here? Well, is the red cover at first?
Yep.
Okay. Medieval Mutilation.
The Medieval Mutilation release, and then the red cover come first or the black and white?
I think it was the red first, but
okay.
Yeah.
And then
sure.
What was the deal back then? You had a different logo back then, and then this logo traveled with you for quite a few years. You got really sick fucking artwork on that.
A former member of Cemetery Lust drew that logo.
Okay.
But he turned out to be kind of a fruitcake, so we changed the logo. But yeah, Yuri Kahan did the artwork. He played in Trepanation.
Okay.
He did that artwork for that.
Cool. And then you guys incarnated to a different and newer and better logo as time went on. What was that, about like 2 or 3 years ago?
Maybe 4 now.
Maybe 4? Okay.
David from Undergang did that logo.
I figured that. It was just too like good, I was like, eventually I was like, I bet you David drew this, but he hasn't, I don't know if he's credited, but.
Oh yeah, that was him.
Demos are always my favorites and raw sounding. Only Torture Rack logo. The old one is the only real one. Funeral Sanctium was my favorite death metal album of 2024. Sick artwork. Let me see. Parasitic Records is so sick. Yes, they are. Dude, Yuri is sick. I went to the same school as him.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while, but
yeah.
What's up, Tony? Do you like severe torture?
Yeah, they're good.
Halo Addict sounds brutal.
They could have been. Maybe we'll do that for the next thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I would fuck with that either as as like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, that's not the aesthetic we're going for
No,
here,
you do not understand what we
What
did.
about, yeah, like, let's talk about, let's talk about Witch Vomit first. Is there like a theme behind Witch Vomit? Because the releases kind of, I don't know, I feel some kind of cohesion between your stuff.
I mean, yes and no. Like, I try and keep the lyrics are kind of always in the same like universe, I guess. I kind of
Okay.
like supernatural horror, like weird fiction type lyrics, ripping off Lovecraft and stuff. So I like the artwork to kind of like tie into itself in a way. Like I'll try and keep one thing from a previous artwork in the newer one.
Okay. Okay. So maybe that's, yeah.
Yeah, like we had like the first album cover. It's behind us. It's like a decaying castle in a crypt with like a coven of witches around it. And then on the second release, we kept that same artwork but had it like submerged in the sea, and then it like appears again. So yeah, like the lyrics kind of follow the same themes. So I kind of try and keep the artwork also kind of incorporating a lot of the same stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I felt I kind of got the vibe on that. What about let's talk about Torture Rack. Same fucking question. Like, are you trying to hold like a certain theme out, release to release, and
Yeah, I guess to a point. Kind of try to keep it fucking medieval, you know.
okay,
So, but just a lot of gore and horror and evil shit.
any specific reason why a lot of your songs are shorter? You just feel like you had bursts of energy that you're just like, this is it.
That's just a lot of my punk influences coming through. I just like shorter, fucking furious songs. So I don't want every song to have like 10 riffs in it. If we got 3 good ones.
I gotcha. Just keeping it a little more simplistic death metal and
Yeah,
stripped back.
it changes up nicely in the set too. If you're got a longer one and you can do a shorter one. I don't know.
Oh, I noticed. I mean, you guys had a very energetic set, like when you did play. Again, I watched my own podcast and listened to my own fans of my podcast, and I saw the word Torture Rack coming up over and over and over again, saying I just saw fucking Torture Rack. I'm like, you know what? I need to take this beyond the recordings I heard on Bandcamp at this stage. You know what I mean? So I was like, I need to go to see this live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it comes across pretty good live. Like,
The vibe.
yeah,
Oh yeah. But
if you're uncertain of the recording, come see it live. You'll
yeah,
probably be banging by the end of it.
really barbaric, and then I mean, not I don't know. It was cool, man. And like you said, a good flow between the songs. If one was a little longer, you know what I mean. Would it like, and also, are you guys prone to like, obviously you bring your own equipment on the road. Your guitar, your bass. You know what I mean. So let's start with you actually, JG. Like, you are primarily a bass player. So what do you
Exclusively a bass player.
exclusively a bass player? And then so talk about your weapon or whatever the fuck.
Right now, I've been more into the precision basses, at least the setup of them.
Okay.
I just kind of like the simplicity of them, and a lot of my bass influences used them in the past, so I think they sound good.
Right. And who would that be? The bass influences?
Like Geezer Butler, Steve Harris, yeah, guys like that. Kronos.
Yeah, visually you came off as like a Kronos slash carnivore in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But bass wise, you were playing with your fingers actually.
Yeah, Chuck Dukowski's from Black Flag.
Right. You were playing with your fingers though.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
I can play with a pick. In fact, I did on one song on the newer Torture Rack album, but
Okay.
I just prefer finger style most of the time.
Right. Let's see. So, Torture Rack killed in New Orleans. Tony, it was nice talking to you and Seth that night.
Right on.
Halo of Dicks, yo, Nick, his new band is the hardest, Screamo, this side of the VFW hall. And the new,
Don't go stealing that idea now.
So Death Metal Podcast, thank you for all the people that have tuned in. I mean, obviously I didn't announce this too fucking far ahead, you know, and so, you know, we have a pretty dedicated, friendly following that fuck with the show, and I appreciate that people even give a fuck about about this, you know what I mean? So, like, and obviously you guys know that I'm making most of it up on the fucking spot, you know? But maybe you don't know that, but I'll let you know now, you know? JG, ask JG about getting girls to scream on the Torture Rack intro of the barbaric persecution.
Okay, so we're coming up with the intro, and we went to the back of the warehouse of the record store studio, and we're like looking for shit. I'm like, because I wanted sound effects for the intro. And
Okay.
we got like hammers and wooden blocks and like an axe, a saw. Just grab some shit, and we're like using that we're doing it in the mic to get some sound effects going. And then I went back there and was looking around for more stuff, and I passed by these two chicks, and I was like, hey, we're recording a metal album. You guys interested in doing some screaming? Because I actually had that idea, but I was going to get like one of our girlfriends to do it or something, but we didn't plan it out. But I was like, hey, you guys interested in doing that? And they're like, sure. And they came in the studio and they just screamed into the mic, and so that was. I didn't even get their names or nothing. They were just down to do it.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. They were like total normies, just walking by. They just came in and put the headphones on, and
they just scream some shit, and you're just like, here, scream this.
You know? If they're getting killed or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's pretty fucking sick, dude. You know. What the fuck is that sound in the background? It sounds like somebody's watching a football game or something.
Not me.
I think that's you, bro.
Me?
Yeah, we got nothing over here.
I don't know. Let me check my phone too. Sometimes I have to. The YouTube is like running on the fucking phone, you know. Yeah, it might have went away. Cool. It was me. I was like, what? I heard it earlier too. No, actually, I still hear it. All right, so tonight is our interview with Torture Rack and Witchvomit. I see we're hitting about an hour mark, so usually I kind of just recap what the fuck's going on here on Death Metal Podcast, you know? Like I said, I met these guys out on the road after corresponding lightly and talking about the shirt making or whatever. Was a fan of both bands, you know, and saw a lot of moves happening over the last X amount of years, you know what I mean? Especially once, you know, Dylan pushed X amount of releases, and then also $20 Spin stepping into the fold and putting out awesome looking records, and you know, and obviously like the visuals were fucking stepping up super fucking hard, you know what I mean? We had the rock fucking graphs on this, you got the fucking Blue Castle fucking Morbid over here, you know what I mean? So definitely, you know, like I definitely was paying attention. Like I keep my eyes on death metal in general. You know what I mean? And then what I try to do is try to bring it to this fucking show, basically. Regardless if it's brutal death metal, you know, black metal even a little, and then or the artists that did it, you know what I mean? Like your Drew Elliott's, or your record label owners, your Dylans, your fucking David from Undergang, who's in a band and a record label owner. So like I had looked through like and seen more of your discography, like during the time right before I met you, when I met you, and afterwards, and I'm like, you know what, these guys are fucking, you know. And Dylan was kind of pumping me too. He's like, you should do an interview with them live, and you're meeting with them. Why don't you do an interview while you're there? And I was like, yo, I mean, the interviews I do on the spot like are not as good as what I could sit down and do here, because basically we could bring visually the covers into it and everything, you know. Hey, what's up, Andre? Just woke up.
Andre.
Because swallowed a fucking insect during the night. It's 2 a.m. Some fuckers inside me now.
Feels good. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, man. So was it a cockroach?
Yeah.
Thank you, Leslie. I DM'd you, Leslie, about that flag. I need a clearer address. Jason and Tony, hail demons.
Hail's back.
Yeah. Roy forgot to turn off some specific adult website. I don't have that. That's the one I use anyway. Black Witchery.
Awesome man.
So, yeah, the latest Witchvomit record was sick. Metal Matt saying hails Tony and Jason.
Hail's back.
Have you heard of death metal dubstep?
No, not interested.
Never heard of that one. Let's see here. Ask JG about the Torture Rack show Under the Bridge at Terminal 4.
Okay, that was our second show. I sent you a photo actually from that show.
Okay.
But it was a benefit of one of our friends got really sick, and so we kind of had it as a benefit. We had a generator down there, and yeah, it was I think Necrodrunks played too, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was just a couple bands. We played Under a Bridge, and everyone got wasted. And,
we used the generator and shit. Yeah. And you brought all your amps down there and your drums and stuff?
Yep.
Okay. And then you guys live in a wet environment? Because it's Portland, right? Is it like a more wet environment than a dry one?
Yeah, I think it was during the summer, though.
Okay.
It was dry. But, yeah, we pulled it off, man. Our buddy Chris had a generator, and, yeah, we just fucking hauled all the shit down there and played a show.
Oh, that's sick. And you guys ever get any of that on video or anything?
I don't think there's video. There's a few photos here and there, but
was it a dusty show? Because yeah, the shows we would have outside were dusty.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Dylan was there. It was
a dusty show.
Oh yeah. People were moshing around and
right. Because I shows I would go to was
amps and shit, throwing beer. You know how it is.
The band was called Dirt Nap, and then they became Crankcase, and then Mark Rizzo joined Soulfly. But basically, he used to live like in the town over from me. And then, like, they would have shows, like, down the meadows with the fucking generator. And then everybody would dance around, and there would be a fucking cloud of dirt, and it would go in everyone's fucking mouth and their face and everything. But it was awesome. I mean, when you're, like, 15 years old, you know, you're, like, you're in your fucking glory times, man, you know?
Yeah.
You come there with your beers that you had someone buy from you at the store, you know what I mean? You're fucking... which show was the best for you in your life that you visited and played? I guess, you know, we could ask both guys.
That Killtown 2018 was pretty good, and Andre was there for that.
I knew that was a loaded question anyway from Andre, but...
Yeah, I mean, that was...
the crowd was fucking amazing for that one.
We got a USA chant, so that was like a pretty big deal. You know?
Metal Matt saying the Pittsburgh Legions await Witchvomit.
Right on. We're due to do that sometime. And then another killer one, we put on a show like 2 years ago that was a bunch of local bands. Witchvomit headlined one night, Torture Rack. The second night, it was Pierce's last show. And that was like a total... one of the best shows we ever played. I mean, totally packed out. Like
you felt tight.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like a big moment. Like Pierce's last show with us, and all of our friends stage diving and going mental.
Yeah, nice. Shout out to Pierce. He helped form the band. So
yeah.
Okay. Dope.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So let's see if we can look at a couple pics too. Let's see what we got here. I don't know what the fuck I put online here. So this was you recording the early fucking thing.
Yeah.
This is a fucking cult ass motherfucking photo, dude. I have to tell you right now, man.
Got the 40 of Mickey's.
There's a lot going on here. You got this. Yeah. You got the fucking old school nihilist fucking ghost shirt on.
Yep.
The Tascam. There's some fucking vans over there on the floor. You got a really plush looking cool couch.
Yeah, that was in Vinny's room in his parents' house when we were in high school.
Yeah, I see a built-in sofa bed thing over there for little kids, you know. So that's where he obviously slept.
The race car bed.
There's like a little kid's like preschool table where you got your 4-track on top of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
what was so talk to me more about like this situation. Like you, how old are you here too? You look like you're about like 17, 18.
Yeah, I was 17 exactly.
Okay, and you
So,
guys
yeah,
were in someone's room recording the
Yeah, it was
early
his
shit.
room. And we jammed at his parents' house too in the living room. And it
Okay,
was on like a busy street, and you could see it from the window. So we would jam, and like people would be outside, like.
looking in a little bit, like what the fuck's going on out there? Yeah.
But yeah, I just did the vocals like in his room, and yeah, that was pretty much it. I don't know, but yeah, high school days we'd hang out there and drink 40s, jam.
Right.
That was the life.
Do a little, try to learn how to record, basically. Obviously.
I mean, that was pretty much as far as that ever went. You know.
Okay.
We had the 4-track available, and at that point, we weren't ready to go into a studio or
Obviously
didn't know how. So we're like, I mean, the 4-track will sound cool. We wanted it to sound raw, so
right.
it worked.
Those old Tascam 4-tracks were the shit, man. You know.
Yeah.
They definitely deep analysis, depth analysis.
Yeah.
Mickey's on the table.
Yes, sir.
Before the gym.
Definitely before the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
Had not been in a gym at that point.
Sick as fucking shirt. Definitely, dude. That plush couch, exactly, dude. That was a cool couch, man, you know?
What about this one?
Oh, that one.
Sure.
This is the truest death metal interview I've ever heard. You know, you know how we do, dude. Come on, Paul. You know, like this is, you know, this. I want death metal podcast to be the most honest of them all. You know, and you know, I want to go back in history with the band members so that I, you know, like later on in life, you know, you probably have nothing to show your fucking kids, but you could be like, hey, you know what? Here's Dad's old fucking thing, you know, kind of explains what his fucking band was about, you know. You know, in a weird way, you know, I don't do that for myself. I come on here just because I met you guys and I'm like, you know what, they were easy to talk to. Why don't they fucking do an interview for us, you know what I mean? I thought it would be cool. And especially you saying it's the first fucking real interview kind of thing you guys did, you know. What was the first Witchvomit show or the first Torture Rack show? And you, if you talk about a flyer, try to give me like a color maybe, because like I don't think I uploaded all of them. There was
I tried to pull out the flyer for that, but it's lost somewhere. But the first Witchvomit show was a house show, and it was at a house in Portland called the Megaton Leviathan House, which was like they were all into like drone and doom metal. And I don't remember the bands we played with, but it was like stoner drone shit that we hated. But we just kind of knew those people. So that was like the first show we could get on. And it was just me and Vinny. And I think we had 4 songs, 2-piece band. I don't think I had lyrics. But yeah, we just like went, played in the basement, death metal, like super primitive shit. And I feel like people just thought it was funny because they were like, you know.
Right. They're like, what are these guys just messing around on the instruments for?
But yeah, that was our first show.
How about Torture Rack?
Our first show was in a warehouse. Dylan was there. It was like, yeah, it was. Pierce was in another band too. It was like a black metal band with one of the members of this old band, Dementox.
Okay.
And, yeah, it was like, I don't know, maybe 3 bands. Shroud of the Heretic, maybe. But
right. Shroud of the Heretic. Okay.
Yeah, at that?
I don't think so.
Shit.
But yeah, it was just like it was just in a warehouse with all of our skater buddies moshing around.
Right. And what were some of the other bands from those eras when you guys were first starting to play that you played around with, possibly?
I mean, we played with a lot of
maybe some ones that are extinct or unknown.
There was a lot of like,
because you just said one that I never heard of, something with a D or whatever.
Oh, Dementox, yeah. Dylan put out their demo, I think.
It's
of course,
awesome.
Of course he did.
Yeah. The bands that like there was Ritual Necromancy and Weregoat, Sempiternal Dusk. I mean, Cemetery Lust, Necrodrunks,
yeah,
Knelt Rote. Those were kind of like the cooler bands from Portland. That, like,
okay.
Yeah, there was a show. It was later on, but it was us. Rude, Bone Sickness, and Skolex. And that was the first show where I was like, okay, there's other bands that are kind of like us, like
Right.
same vibe. And at the time, there wasn't really a lot of death metal bands playing kind of in the old way. There was just a lot of like technical death metal bands or brutal stuff.
Right.
So that show, I was like, okay, something's kind of happening.
Little eye opener for the scene and for your band and for the
yeah. That was like for a lot of those bands, it was like one of their first shows or maybe their first show, and we all just got together, and it was pretty cool.
That's good. And then was that with the thing that Erica from Skolex set up? She mentioned it. She mentioned she set up shows.
I think it was her or maybe Sam or somebody set up the tour, but yeah, they came to Portland. We all played together.
Uh-huh.
That was before we had a logo, or I don't even think the demo was out yet.
Okay, cool. That's sick. And yeah, there's like always those gateway things that, you know, moments. And, you know, there's record stores that unite people. There's shows that unite people. I find shows are a huge one, you know?
Yeah,
I'm very outgoing, so, like, obviously, if I go to a death metal show, you know, if somebody's eyeballing me, like, I go over and talk to them, you know? I'm like, what's up? You know, because I figure, like, you know, you're looking at my shirt, I'm looking at yours. Like, you know, we might gel to talk, you know what I mean? Because, like, you know, obviously some people are stone-faced in your ass, you know, but, I mean, I understand that vibe, too. You go there to just be fucking angry, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, everyone, the term OSDM wasn't really a thing, but that was kind of like before all this shit now. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. When we started, it was way more like mixed bill all the time. Like we would play like with a lot of grind bands or like punk bands or whatever, and then it was always cool to see like Undergang or Skolex. Like I saw them super early. Bands like that come through that have like the same attitude, and you're like, oh fuck yeah, like there's other people doing the same kind of thing we're doing. But I feel like it took us a couple of years before we were actually like playing with those bands. Like we played a lot of weird shows, just whatever we could play, you know.
Right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you had to kind of rise through and put in your dues.
There was a lot of shows where we had a totally different sound than the rest of the bands.
Yeah,
I understand.
Cool, I mean, honestly, you know, but
I mean, honestly, that's the genesis of all death metal usually, because when I would go see Revenant back in 1988, 90, they were playing with fucking poser bands, you know what I mean? They were playing with hair bands. They were playing with they were mixed in with Mucky Pup, you know what I mean? They were playing completely different genre stuff. And it was like, oh, cool, I get to see Mucky Pup, but I also get to see Revenant. That's kind of cool, you know? You know what I mean? So, like, you know, these mixed bills are, like, kind of the training grounds for most bands, you know what I mean? Totally. To see if you're going to stay to be a fucking band, basically.
I sort of,
stick it out.
Miss it now, in a weird way, just because it's, like, there's so many, like, you know, death metal bands that kind of sound the same. It's, like, obviously it's cool to play good shows, but going to a local show, you're like, oh fuck, like, it's just four of the same band.
You've reached that point, huh? Yeah. I know. I've been there. You know, I've been through so many rejuvenations of even myself. I didn't ever stop going to shows, but like I've been through like those rejuvenations where I'm like, I want to go to this. You know?
Yeah, we had a good crew though. Like a bunch of people. We had just a good crew of metalheads that we'd like. One of our bands would play, and all of our friends would come out. So we had like we knew that our friends would fucking go crazy and shit.
Right.
So it always
that's kind of what I had.
A good energy, you know, despite what the other bands had going on, whether they were good or bad, we always had some.
You knew there was going to be energy because your boys were there.
Yeah.
That's good. That's how I used to roll too with the Carney fucking death crew. Hell yeah, first interview, and Roy, that's why Roy's the GOAT.
Hell yeah, Roy.
Thank you. The warehouse show was sick. There was like exposed pipes sticking out of the wall, and people were moshing and skating and getting hurt.
That's always good.
Witchvomit, Rude, and Bone Sickness. I guess he was talking about that particular show.
Those were some bands from our generation.
Necro Drunks are sick. I'm going to break out that CD. They almost sound like Gut.
Yeah.
Let me see. Tell them what's the fucking scoop. Necromancy, ritual necromancy. I need that info. Tell them to shape the fuck up. My body is ready for more of that mean ass shit. Sam Osborne has a VHS with torture rack from a Tacoma house show from 2013 or something.
Yep, he tells us that all the time.
I'm sure he does. And then, what was the first Witchvomit show with JG on bass? First show with Casey on guitar? Good question. Thank you.
Was your first show the show at Dylan's old house? Or was it when we played with Alderman?
I think it was either that house show or that Blackwater show.
Okay, yeah. It was either your house or with Aldebaran at Blackwater.
Okay.
And I think Casey's first show was in Tacoma with, what's it called? Plague, the other drawn and quartered band, Plague
Okay.
Bear. I think that was her first show.
Yeah, and Casey's your girl, right? And you,
Yeah.
she eventually joined Witchvomit.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
and
Who was before her, or there was no one?
we were just a three-piece forever. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
good. And didn't Casey have a band or something with Erica?
They played in Trepanation for a show. But
Okay.
we'd known her forever. Like she played in bands that we would see.
They had a couple pictures together, so that's why I asked. You know.
Yeah.
They're old friends.
Yeah, they've known each other forever.
What about the scene of Portland and Washington?
I mean, it's cool. Like when we started, there was the band Dylan mentioned, Witchvomit, those guys, and that crew kind of like that's where the Cerebral Rot came from, and Crew of Fragium. And we got together with them pretty early, and they'd come down here, we'd go up there, party together.
Right.
They're fucking crazy.
Yeah, they were like the same kind of vibe of crew up in Seattle. So whenever we would go up to Seattle to shows, or they would come down to Portland, and yeah, we just have a good time. You know?
Sounds like the New York, New Jersey vibe.
Yeah, I'm sure it was similar.
Yeah, definitely.
We got along good. And then, yeah, like Fetid came out a little bit later. Mortiferum, yeah.
My man Tom from Dripping checking in.
Right. Sick man.
Let's see what else, man. How was the show when Chelsea filled in for IFJG in Chicago?
It was cool. It was Metal Threat, and then we played a show in New York.
One of the earlier Metal Threats, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2018. But yeah, Jason couldn't do it, and we wanted to play because we hadn't been to the East Coast at all before. So we got Chelsea from Fetid to fill in, and worked out good. Met some cool people over there. I think I sent you a photo of us and Fetid over there.
Yeah, I have some photos that I didn't show total.
Yeah.
Here's one with you and David from Undergang right here.
There he is.
There he is.
The man himself.
When was this taken?
Where was that? I think that was in Finland, like last year.
Oh shit! Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So who was playing there? Witchvomit or Torture Rack?
Witchvomit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was the first show of our tour with Mortiferum. It was a Helsinki Death Fest, which was like a
okay.
2-day fest, and Undergang played the next day, so we didn't get to see him, but we did get to see David, have a little Finnish long drink, and party. Right. Yeah.
Cool. And then there was this photo I thought was cool.
Oh yeah.
You have Casey and Mark Sakowitz from Impetigo.
Yep. That was at Metal Threat. That was during that thing.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, we were stoked. Impetigo was like one of the very first death metal bands I heard, so I was like pretty stoked to know that guy liked us at all.
Oh, you can't even see it.
He's wearing a shirt.
Yeah. I mean, he's a big fan. I also met him when I was in Illinois at one of the Illinois Death Fests before the Impetigo reunion one, like one or two before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's a big metal supporter.
An influential band that still cares about the younger bands, you know.
So we'll jump around now. Let's talk about this photo right here, because the guy to the left I want to talk about the most.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. That's funny.
So what do we have here?
Fucking specimen.
Yeah, he's got the candelabra. Had to light that a few times because it was windy.
Uh huh.
We're in some graveyard in Portland. I forget which one. And this is for the Buried Deep in a Bottomless Grave album cover. And we've got Rob Fornicator from the band Fornicator.
Uh huh.
He's our prop corpse that we're
Oh, okay.
And
So
actually, we got kicked at the first cemetery we tried to go to. We showed up with our shovels, and the like groundskeeper was walking up, and he was like, "No, like you guys got to get the fuck out." And we're like, "No, we're just taking a picture." He's like, "No, get out of here." So we had to relocate to a new cemetery.
I gotcha. So yeah, this is a pretty fucking cultic fucking photo, dude. You know, like I always love these ones the best, dude. You know,
Yeah, we
They're
got a lot
definitely
of shit
metal
going.
as fuck, dude. You know, the fucking sickos. You know. So you sent this too.
Yeah,
What the hell is that?
someone we met in Finland showed me that, and he had another one. He like had some art gallery, and he painted like two people wearing Witchvomit shirts. which I thought-
Interesting. So it's a woman. So this is just a painting someone handed you at a show, and they're like, "Hey, look, I put your shirt on a woman in the subway having some peaches."
Yeah, it's
Kind of weird, man.
kind of weird.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I think it's pretty
It's
fucking
a
epic.
normal
It's pretty
history.
fucking epic, just to be honest, you know.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty bizarre.
So let's see what here we can bounce around a little too. What would
Okay.
this be? A very early show?
So that is the. I took that photo. That was at the Famine Fest in Portland. Torture Rack also played, but that was the first time I saw Witchvomit, and that was also the night that I joined the band.
Oh, okay, sick. That's fucking sick.
Yeah,
And what was the lineup at this stage?
So it was just Vinny and Tony, and I was watching them, and I was like, man, they're fucking sick, but they need a little more low end, you know?
Okay, so that person off to the side, they're not in the band. They're just headbanging
No,
in the front.
it's just Vinny back there playing drums and Tony up there doing guitar and vocals. But yeah, I was like, hey, do you guys need a bassist? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, shit, I'll do it.
What about the venue right here? You got like rafters and like it's like kind of like pretty gully, you know?
Yeah, it was
Analog, I think.
it was the upstairs of this place called the Analog. They only had a few metal shows there, but there was a really good festival there where a lot of good bands played, some old bands, some new ones at the time, a lot of our peers, and yeah, it was a pretty memorable fest.
Sick.
yeah.
Good
And
shit.
that was maybe one of my first shows with Torture Rack. Was that same fest?
Yeah.
Okay. So
We made
you
the
know,
obvious choice of recruiting each other. But yeah,
yeah.
that was,
So you recruited each other. I was gonna say
Yeah.
too. Then that's cool, man. It's cool that you know, like the bottom line in this death metal scene is like it's usually 10 motherfuckers with
Yeah,
6
pretty
bands, you know. And
that's
then,
how it was like before us too. Like all the bands that I liked and looked up to, I realized I was like, oh, it's like the same 10
dudes.
people. Yeah, just switching around instruments or whatever. So
exactly, or switching around names of bands and having
Yeah.
like a slightly different style in this band versus that band. This band's more grinding. This band's more slow. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then a good united scene brings out a lot of, you know, other cool fucking metalheads. Bottom line, you know.
that's true.
Where is Rob? I think Rob was in the photo, but he was kind of off camera a little bit. I
Yeah,
think
we
in the
got
front
some better ones that show them a little bit more. But
Yeah.
They're
it's
very
pretty sick
similar.
looking.
What's up, Chris? Thank you for joining us, brother.
What is up?
The last show ever to happen at the Analog was Viscera, Infest, and Witchvomit.
Yeah, that was sick. And Seth did a cool like pratfall move. There was a curtain behind the stage, but no barrier.
Okay.
The entrance to the show was right behind the stage, and he like leaned back and flipped through and like fell through a table right at the entrance when people were walking in.
Oh shit!
It was pretty sick. Yeah.
Right. And you guys got it on video or something?
Yeah.
You guys got it on video or something?
No, I wish.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. I'm gonna bring up a few more memories here too.
Yeah,
so
that's
I mean, you guys, was it a conscientious choice to not do any interviews?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because that's the vibe I kind of got from Dylan from Head Split. You know, he's like, I don't think those guys will do it, man. You know, because I asked probably like a year or two ago.
A lot of these guys, they're not really, to me, they're not really invested in death metal that much. They're kind of just hopping on the trend of it, and they're just trying to get bands that'll make their organization or whatever.
Their podcast numbers move somewhere.
Like, bro, you don't give a fuck about my band, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like. For me, on here, there's no monetary gain. So like, you know what I mean? There's only me coming on here and fucking talking, you know?
Yeah, and we met personally, so we kind of got.
Well, that's what I mean. And then it's like having a conversation where we can let other people fuck with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did do some written interviews after the last Torture Rack album, and apparently they didn't like what I said because they didn't print like most of them.
Gotcha.
Whatever.
I mean, I apparently didn't like what you said. Like you said, I found this photo to be very fucking destructive.
Yeah, that was a hard party night.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the end of the night?
Yeah, early morning.
Okay.
That was probably towards the end of your drinking, I would imagine.
Yeah, smoking.
Oh, okay. And then, so you guys, you know, this was your fucking, you're like, you know what? We need to go take a band photo by this weird fucking tree, and everybody goes completely.
That was outside of, well, Seth and Vinny lived in those apartments at different times, and we would just party there all the time.
Yeah. We had a lot of crazy parties after shows there and shit, and that was one of them. I don't remember the event, but it was a get shirtless and take a picture.
Yeah, and also was this, you know, like, yeah, sick fucking photo, you know?
Yeah.
We gotta get a Witchvomit fetid corpus offal tour someday. That would be absolutely slaying.
Do it.
Ask them about the infamous torture rack photo with Seth eating the raw meat.
So that was the photo session for the second Torture Rack album, Malefic Humiliation, and it was really cold. It was like in the winter time.
Yeah, it was snowing.
It was snowing, and we went out to this witch's castle place, and it's like this old like rubble-looking rundown stone building. And we just brought some shit with us. We brought dumbbells. We brought weapons, and Seth comes walking up with like some fucking steaks. And he's just like, and we're like, hell, what you gonna do with those? And he's like, I don't know. And he just used it for the photo and was just like biting into it.
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Brutal.
Yeah, we hiked in like 2 miles in the snow holding like dumbbells and weapons.
Okay.
And then we had to harass Pierce for like an hour to take his shirt off. So we were out in the snow. He's like, it's snowing. We're like, no, take your shirt off.
Yeah, it was cold as shit.
Right.
But yeah, and then I think Seth ate the steak afterwards.
Yeah, it didn't go.
So then so it had a dual purpose. He used it during the photo shoot, and then he was still able to bring it home, you know?
Yeah.
Unlike a goat that you might have brought to a photo shoot or something, you know?
Yeah, no, we're not at that level.
Let's look at this little collage. I'm assuming this was inside a release, but I mean, there's probably a lot going on here for Witchvomit. I mean, could you talk to me about some of the people in the photo and anybody that's, you know?
Yeah, I think we were gonna do that for the Abhorrent Rapture, and then we decided not to. But yeah, that's like most film photos from around that time. It's just us in our jam space and outside the recording studio.
That's what that thing is with the record on top? Is that the recording studio? Okay.
Blackwater Records and the Red Lantern Studios inside there.
Some pics from.
You used to rock a mustache, obviously, back in the day?
Yeah, for COVID, I had a little mustache going.
Right.
There's some photos from our time in Mexico City that we played.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Cool. How was that?
It
that
was
was
sick.
awesome.
Fucking awesome.
Who did you play with?
The one band I can remember was called Infesticide from Mexico City, and they were fucking sick. Like kind of possessed, early Morbid Angel, Necrovore style shit. They were the standout band for me.
Right.
But yeah, I don't remember. We were supposed to play a show like outside Mexico City, and it got canceled. So we played like a punk show at a record shop last minute, and we were playing on like Line 6 Spider combo amps.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar, but that's like
I am.
$100 practice amp. And Vinny had this little like circus monkey drum set. He was like sitting on a milk crate, and it like another show got canceled. Sing some Crazy Boy. So there was all these punk bands that jumped on it. So that one was really goofy. We played a bigger show outside that was like fucking awesome. And there was tons of people there. The first time I saw bootleg Witchvomit merch.
Oh, that market down there.
Yeah.
And then playing in Mexico, yeah, I heard like the fans there are maniacs. I figured you go have a big enough show.
There's some footage of that record store show, and it sounds fucking good, honestly.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Now, we're considering keeping the Line 6s.
Oh, well.
They just had a little combo amp for the bass. It was just a 1x15 combo amp, and I just turned it all the way up. And I was like, fuck it.
Let's go. Yeah.
And what, someone set up something for Mexico, or you guys went on an independent? Do you guys ever set up anything independently, or do you have a booker, or what? How do you handle your show and, multiple show situations?
Like independently. That was the Total Death Over Mexico guy set that.
Okay.
So it was just kind of a one-off thing. But yeah, no, we don't have a booker.
But then you mixed in a couple additional shows, obviously.
Yeah, we only did 2 then. It was just 2 things he set up. But yeah, one of them got canceled, so we had to jump on this punk show.
And then when you go to Mexico, you don't drive from your state, obviously, right? You flew in there.
Yeah, yeah, it was right after COVID. It was a real shit show.
Yeah,
I remember.
Kind of I
remember the time frame of the
just
first version of that.
It took forever to get out of the airport, and we ended up having to get tested or something. And man, they shoved these freaking swabs that were like this long, like up our noses, like into our fucking brains.
Yeah,
right.
And we paid like an astronomical amount of money for it.
Was Adolfo Constanza there to fucking get a piece of your brain and put it in his fucking Nganga? Or
maybe, yeah. And then we didn't even need the tests, but yeah, it was cool to get our brains swabbed.
Right, gotcha. It opened up a new fucking gland or whatever,
Totally.
So let's go back in time, because this is Death Metal Podcast, obviously. So, I want to go back to the first Torture Rack thing, because we looked at the first Witchvomit thing, but would this be, kind of the first Torture Rack, release?
Well, the first release was the Medieval Mutilation demo. This was our first album.
Oh, the first album, okay. So
yeah, that came out initially on Head Split, and then... Memento Mori did the CD version, and then Tim Parasitic did the LP, I believe.
Right. Yeah. So that was hold on a second. That's the I think I got them switched actually. That was my bad. Oh no, maybe. So yeah, this was one version.
Yep.
And this being the other release.
That was the second album there.
Okay, and then you still were using the old logo. You had a release on Extremely Rotten on cassette.
Yeah, it was a co-release between Head
and then a CD version.
Extremely Rotten.
And was this Extremely Rotten? This was a 7-inch put out on Extremely Rotten, the Pit of Limbs.
Yeah, that was a co-release between Extremely Rotten and Parasitic.
Okay. Oh, Parasitic. I was on that one too. So this is the newer release.
That is
an older release.
Sorry. That's a compilation that Dylan put out with the demo and
the Pit release and some comp tracks.
There was one track that he did from a compilation, so it's kind of some old shit.
Right, and the old logo. And who's the artist on this?
So that's Matt Hopkins.
Okay.
He did that one, and he did the first album.
Cool.
Yeah, cool guy.
History, man. How was the Torture Rack MDF show? Didn't you meet Autopsy?
Yeah, it was killer.
It was sick, man. Yeah, we were stoked to play it. I think we opened.
Hey, what's up, Anati from fucking Auntie from Cadaveric Incubator? Thank you for joining us. I have one of your flyers here too that we did show, which was this, right? No, I think it was this one. No, that's Divine Eve. I don't know where the fuck it is.
Yeah, we played with Cadaveric quite a few times actually.
Right.
Yep.
Good.
Great band.
Yeah.
Good guys.
Yeah, they've been on Death Metal podcasts. They stayed up all fucking night and got drunk, and I watched the sun go up in Finland.
Our first kind of mini tour was with them going down to California, so it was a good time. We were all in the same band and hanging out.
Yeah, I got to meet him through going to Maryland Death Fest, and then I met him at Maryland Death Fest, and then next year I had got to Obscene Fest, and then we met over there too, you know. And then I was supposed to go somewhere with him and fly to go to Prague or whatever, but then I realized I never exchanged any information with him to say where the fuck is your car, you know? So when my German bus was leaving with the 40 Germans, I was like, oh shit, I don't know where the fuck this guy is, man. He's sleeping in his car somewhere. If I don't leave on this bus, I don't know whether, what am I gonna do? Search around for him, you know? Because Obscene's not small, and neither is the parking ground, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think I'll just get on the fucking bus, you know. I was flying by the seat of my pants traveling over there, just no fucking plan, no hotel, no fucking transport. Just I knew I had one bus trip back and forth from Germany, Wermelskirchen to fucking Obscene. That's it, you know.
Yeah. Every time we go to Europe, we run into Juha or Auntie or one of those guys. So it's always
okay. Yeah, Juha. Those are cool guys, man. So let's see what else we could show the people here. Yeah, let's talk about this show anyway.
Yeah.
With Divine Eve.
That's a classic kind of a Portland gig at that time, there was one fucking legendary band, and then there was our local bands that were
And this looks pretty fucking crazy. So you have Divine Eve, Cemetery Lust, Torture Rack, and Fetid at the Twilight Cafe and Bar. This is in 2018.
Yep.
And
by Headsplit.
Was supposed to play a year before that, and it got canceled. They were touring with somebody.
Okay.
And I forget. And it just ended up being just Torture Rack played a show there. And then, they made up for it a year later. Which
and you guys
cool.
were getting busy in 2018, which is cool, you know?
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Yuri Kahan did that artwork that...
I was going to say,
yeah.
Kind of rock-like. So you play with Dead Conspiracy, that old band? They were reformed, right? At some stage?
Portland Death Metal.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Ritual, Necromancy, Dead Conspiracy, Shroud. Is that Shroud of the Heretic?
That's them.
And then Torture Rack. This was, it doesn't really have the year. Slab Town. Tell me about Slab Town.
Yeah, they did shows there for a little bit. I seen Morbosa Dad there. I seen Macabre there.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just kind of a brief moment where they were doing shows and they had some good ones, but a lot of venues around here, it was short-lived and they stopped doing that shit.
I guess that's common everywhere, huh? Short-lived fucking venue shit.
Yeah, definitely.
And this one, I think, was really a big standout one to me.
That was
2 Days of Death with the same font as the Death of
A Day of Death.
Day of Death, yeah. And
that
then,
was
you got Witchvomit, Spirit. You put this on?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Okay.
We did one last year too. We had a couple of bands fly out. So it's a 2-day fest we're trying to do.
I'm going to say the names of the bands in case this ever becomes an audio podcast. So this is so the day one you had Witchvomit, Spirit Possession, That's not Cruciamentium.
That's Pierce's other band, Onigmatum.
Otigmoctum. On one under that, I'm not sure. And then I see necropsy posthumous regurgitation, and then day 2, torturac, fetid, mephitic corpse, something oath,
Diabolic Oath,
and hemorrhoid. Cool.
Yes.
And this was an early hemorrhoid show too, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, pretty early.
Live at Dante's in Portland.
Yep, that's
Good
kind of the main spot for metal shows at this point in time.
And how were you feeling setting up a show versus just walking into one?
It was cool, man. I mean, it was easy because it was mostly local bands. We just had the Necropsy and Mephitic guys. They drove up.
Okay.
And it was just a wild show. It was like we had that post-COVID like shows where it's super packed.
Right.
And so I don't know. We were kind of like, 50 people might show up. It's all local bands, but it was like totally fucking packed.
Yeah. A lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Your scene out there seems like it's really like good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good for sure.
It feels like a net, like an extension of like a New York scene, like I said, or a New Jersey scene, where I see like Seattle, I see Washington, Portland, stuff like up there. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, well, that kind of reminds me of the whole like New York, New Jersey dynamic. You know what I me?
Yeah.
I don't know which one's the dominator. You know what I mean? I don't know if Portland is being the more dominant.
It used to be kind of, in my opinion, a little bit more hardcore and brutal, but now it's kind of like there's really good shows, but there's so many bands, and
okay,
there's so much shit going on where
a lot of glut all of a sudden.
Well, there's just like so many people doing different stuff where it's like it's not as tight knit as it was, but
right,
still good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I like to know about. I gotta move soon, so I don't know where the fuck I want to go. So I took Dylan's fucking zip code and threw it in my fucking Zillow.com, and then was like, well, where does Dylan live? And then I'm like, okay, like let me look around his house in a town near there. You know what I mean? Like,
if you can move out,
I do that to other people too. I'm just like, where do I want to go next?
Yeah, if you want your car broken into, just move to Portland. You're good.
Yeah, I want to move somewhere where it's cheap, but there's mountains, and then there's no crime, which is almost impossible.
Well,
you know what I mean? I'm down with farms, basically.
Anywhere outside of Portland, you're good.
Yeah, I'm down with like farms and quiet, and then I'll drive to the fucking shows. I don't need to be in the epicenter where the shit is.
You're gonna want to move to Scappoose.
I mean, I'm looking in the middle of California right now. Cool. Because I'm just like, well, this would actually hit everything I want to hit. I would be able to do LA down, Oakland over, and Portland and all this stuff up. You know what I mean? And even on the edge of Nevada right there too, because then I wouldn't be in California basically.
Yeah, it's just warmer there too, and more dry.
Yeah, and I want to move somewhere warmer because right now, like next week, it'll be negative fucking 20 here, and I'm just sick of this fucking place.
Yeah, it doesn't get that cold here, but it just rains so much.
Yeah, move to Sacramento. Yeah, it's expensive there, but I could see myself on the outskirts of something like that. You know what I mean? I should move to Idaho. Yeah, I don't know. That's a little too fucking weird for me, man. That's the problem that I'm having on the East Coast. Like, I'm like, well, if I move down the East Coast, where am I going? North Carolina, West Virginia, Tennessee, Virginia, and I'm just like, man, the scenes in all those states suck.
I mean, we played in Virginia. It seemed kind of cool over there. But
okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Richmond.
I gotta match the energy in New York, man. Or if I don't, then I don't want to be there. You got to think, like, I'm a child of New York City shows, so, like, I want to match at least a little bit close to that energy. And where I live now, there's no energy at all. I have to go to New York, go to Philly, go to Massachusetts, go to fucking Syracuse, go to fucking Montreal. It's 6.5 hours to Ohio. You know what I mean? I have to go far for everything. So I figure, well, If I move in the middle of Cali or somewhere close to there, then that's exactly the same fucking thing, basically, you know?
Yeah.
You know, pay less, live with nobody, just the hicks, and then, you know what I mean? And that way, I'm not really a city guy anymore, I don't think, you know? Yep, lived in the Bay Area, trying to get out, it's too much money, exactly. I don't want to live where it's too much dough.
Yeah, Portland's getting pretty expensive, too.
I'm sure. And then, you know, like, as far as, like, I want to sustain a living that's like my one now, with the quietness and cooking my own food, etc. You know what I mean? And no humans, as little humans as possible, basically. You know. I'm gonna try.
We're used to, that's for sure.
I'm gonna try, man. That's all I could say. And I don't have a destination at this stage. Like I'm just like, well, Texas looks cool, Florida looks cool. You know, some of that shit looks cool. Portland looks interesting. There's a lot of interesting destinations. You know.
Yeah.
United States is interesting. Chicago, kind of off the table. I'm just like, no, cold. You know? So, you guys do a lot of travel between, say, like Cali, or, you know, you do like a run maybe where you play like a Portland, Washington, or Idaho, Cali, da-da-da.
Yeah, I mean, we've done that for sure with both bands. The California drive it's pretty brutal. It's like kind of a long stretch with nothing. It's like, 12 hours to the Bay.
Right.
And there's not really like a lot of great options of places to play in between there. So you kind of just have to suck it up and do that chunk.
I understand.
And then it's still pretty far to LA, and then the way back is brutal. But
right.
I like to try and do it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Friends down there, like shows are always cool in both like Oakland and LA, so it's worth it to play down there for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Parker saying love Torture Rack. Fuck yeah. Chris Gamble could use a roommate. Okay, I didn't know that. I know he's moving to Florida.
You're set.
He has kids though, so I'm not looking for some roommate with kids. Basically, you know, I'm looking to be out by myself. You know, I can't live with other people anymore, man. I'm done with that. So, let's talk about some more of these photos and show flyers and shit.
Oh, that's coming up.
This is the one coming up. Okay, so on this you have Witchvomit. You have
Ceremonial Bloodbath,
Bestial Black Death, Worse, a sludge metal band, and then
something else.
Order Goth.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, February 28th, and then who's setting up this show? I see Invisible Orange is on there.
That's Anju from Ceremonial Bloodbath. So we're doing that, and then I think we're doing Victoria as well the day after, and that just got announced today. Because I haven't posted the flyer yet. But
cool.
Yeah, a couple Canadian shows in the dead of winter. Should be good.
Let's talk about another release, too. This was one of your releases.
Yeah, that was our first studio release, The Webs of Horror.
The Webs of Horror. And then, I mean, when you guys were recording this, you obviously recorded with that same guy.
Yep, that was our first time with him.
Okay.
So, and that was Jason's first thing with us. I think we did it all in, a couple hours in one day.
Okay. And do you guys just record in the studio live?
That time we did 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I just did it all live, and then like one guitar overdub and vocals.
Okay.
But yeah, usually now we'll, try to do it live and then end up redoing guitars after. But back then it was simple enough to where we could bang through it pretty fast.
And the artwork on this is pretty phenomenal, so.
Yeah, that's Matt Sticker, the same guy who's done all of our other art.
Uh-huh.
That was the first thing he did for us.
Because I love I love like the black and whites and the, grave scenes and weird trees and shit, you know what I mean? So I guess at one point, you didn't want bubbling, but you didn't mind some trees and some graves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
gotta keep the graveyard shit.
Yeah,
we were graveyard a lot back then, so we had to incorporate it.
What about this band photo here? Let's talk about this.
Where we got? Oh, that was in a castle in Germany.
Yeah, because it looks crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked up.
It was pretty evil.
It was a very evil place.
And you went there to visit, or you lived there for the show?
Yeah, we stayed there. No, we were on tour with Mortifrum, and we were driving through, and our driver, Tilo, knew of this place and was like, if you want to see something crazy, like, we can go to this old castle in Germany. So
right,
check it out. Got a couple pictures.
Cool.
But yeah,
and you could just go in these places, or they're like pay to get in tourist attractions?
No, it was like a tourist attraction.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Is this an earlier lineup photo?
Yeah, that's pre-Casey.
Okay,
So,
that's the pre-Casey Witchvomit lineup. Which what releases were done by the time this was photoed?
That was probably like around the Poison Blood EP. So we had an album and 2 EPs.
Right.
Yeah, that's Lone Fir Cemetery, which is where we would hang out and party.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are definitely death metalers. You party in fucking
we
cemeteries.
used to go party there and have barbecues and stay there all night.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And many a Portland band has taken their photo at that place.
Any good stories touring with Angel Corpse?
Well, we didn't tour with them.
We didn't tour with them. We played one gig with them at St. Vitus in New York.
Okay. I know that's a jab, right, Dylan?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, we played one show with them. It was actually it was a sick show. We were stoked to play with them.
Yeah.
Cool. I saw this Head Split run show here too. I thought the lineup was phenomenal.
Oh yeah. That was
Torture
cool.
Rack, Dipugus, Anthrophagus, and Hemorrhoid. Twilight Cafe and Bar. I've seen that more than once also.
Yeah.
Yep.
2024, so this was like just last year.
Yeah, that was a good show. It was cool meeting the Anthropophagus guys and girls,
Right.
and Dipugus was cool.
Dipugus. Sorry,
Yeah.
I never say that right.
And yeah, it was a good variety of death metal there.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of California type bands too, like converge with the Portland people, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people move here and they stay in their bands in California, so they, you know.
I noticed that. I noticed that's a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been buddies with like the Necrot, Mortuous, Vastum people for a while. So
Any reason you guys never went down and did the whole studio down there with the Greg guy?
I like our guy.
I gotcha.
I don't know. He seems cool, but some of the stuff he does is not, I feel like, how I'd like certain bands to sound either. So
Okay. Hey man. All fair. The here's a cool photo. I saw Dylan in here.
yeah, that was in Finland. That's Torture Rack and Hemorrhoid last year.
Pretty slamming fucking statue. I mean, they got a big fuck you statue there.
Yeah, there's like weird pig guys in trench coats.
Big man.
Yeah, and a huge fucking
Middle
a huge fucking fuck you fucking at the top, you know?
Yeah.
That's like, what's the purpose? I don't really fully understand it, but
Bro, we were just walking around. We're like, hey, that looks cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now this reminds me of This reminds me of my youth and the cemetery and our drinking. Like we would drink down the tracks, you know,
Nice.
on a bridge that we would run across. That was, you know, you could die basically. So
Yep.
you guys were out in the forest with your fucking bones. Is this
That was in my fucking backyard, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a big old fire pit out there, and yeah, we could just do whatever we want in that yard. So we actually took the first Torture Rack photos for the first album out there, and that was during the same photo session.
Right.
I think we
My
actually
girlfriend at the time took those photos.
I
Yeah,
think
this
we
is
had
cult.
2 bands together because we were gonna do a split. The 2 bands were gonna do a split together.
Okay.
It just never came out. But yeah, there's another picture of like the 5 of us.
Mm.
So we got 3.
You were gonna put the both split bands all in one photo, basically.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to this one too.
Yeah, so Seth got me that chainmail deal there for my birthday, and we were just jamming in the space, and I was like, I'm putting that shit on now.
Yeah, what's the deal with your space? Like, you know?
So that space is where Hemorrhoid, Torture Rack, Witchvomit, and every band that we're associated with pretty much has been practicing there for almost a decade.
Oh, okay. So that
So
long.
it's got all those posters, and there's 2 drum sets, and all our gear's in there.
Right. It's a permanent leave your gear here type place.
Yeah.
And
We can jam there
multiple
24/7.
bands.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I
that's
know the type.
my old bass that I don't play anymore, but I recorded a lot of the early Torture Rack, Witchvomit stuff on that thing.
And I see a PV amp there, the 850, 8505 or some shit. A couple PV amps. Are you guys big PV fans?
Yeah. Well, they always break on me, but I like the way they sound. So.
Right. What
Yeah.
about playing direct versus recording your stuff with the microphone on the amp? Where are you guys at?
What do you mean, like live?
No, like recording wise. Like, do you record your stuff direct, or do you let your shit get mic'd up?
Usually mic'd up the amps.
Yeah? Okay, that's cool. That's kind of how I'm trying to set my game up here, and I'm like, man, I'm deficient of wires.
We've done that a couple times, like direct in, and I never like the way it sounds. Like,
Right.
I don't know. I like to get a little feedback, and
You want a little air in there, right?
yeah, it kind of changes the way I play. I feel like if I can't hear that, it's just like going straight into a computer, into a mix.
And then like most of your recordings where you guys go in and do like a kind of like a scratch track where everyone just plays live, and then you figure out afterwards like, okay, I'm gonna redo just this guitar place.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to recreate like the most close to how you really sound you can. So
Yeah.
And usually that's for the purpose of having the drum backing track, correct?
Yeah, especially for me, like I like locking into the drummer. I want to play with the drummer, so it's important for me to do it that way.
Right.
But all of our albums, man, like none of them we've recorded all of them in like 2 or 3 days.
Right.
So a lot of bands, they'll spend like 2 weeks, few months on an album. We're like, fuck it, we busted out in a couple days.
yeah,
And then mixed and mastered, not mastered, but like mixed in 2 days and full done recording, basically.
Yep.
Oh, cool. That's good. I mean, that means the band is tight usually.
Well, it's that, and it's like, dude, like how good are we gonna do it live? You know what I mean? So
That's what I mean. That means the band's tight and they can do it live, basically.
we don't want to give you one thing, and then when you see us live, you're like, oh man, they suck.
Yeah, I understand,
Show you
dude.
We suck all the time.
exactly how much we suck on the recording.
I mean, I actually do like when a band, sounds. I like seeing a band live first, actually, before I listen to their anything.
Yeah, I've definitely been won over a lot by bands live that I didn't like initially.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I mean, most of my best experiences were with that. They were with the Immolation live. They were with the, early death metal bands live. Mortician even. Like I saw them live before I even heard any recordings. Gorephobia, a lot of stuff. Deceased. I think I heard Deceased demo, but the thing is, like seeing them live, I was like, oh shit,
You get the real deal there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that fucking drummer is a fucking maniac,
Yeah.
And he was singing too at the time. It was King,
Oh, that's sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
we played with them a bunch. I love seeing Deceased.
Are there many Australian Torture Rack Witchvomit fans?
I don't know.
Maybe 2 or 3.
I've never met them.
Dylan, you fucking know.
I know you're fucking trolling us, motherfucker.
Dylan's asking questions he already knows the answer to.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing on here because, like, he can lead me a little bit because I don't know shit. I mean, I told you guys when I came on, and I told the rest of the Death Metal Podcast listeners, like, I don't know, this conversation is open ended, so like, I don't know. I mean, I know some of your releases and I know your stuff, but like.
Yeah,
I'm not like your super fan either, where I'm really even should be doing this interview. But at the same time, it leaves me open to talk to you guys just naturally, you know what I mean? And that way we talk naturally about the recordings, the art, the live shows. You know what I mean? You're seen. Like, I care about that stuff. Not just because I want to move there, but basically, like, I care about that stuff to say, like, I think that's more, than some fucking generic question. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't talk about this release either. Hold on, let me shut off the stupid banner.
Oh yeah, that's the second Witchvomit album, Buried in a Bottomless Grave,
and then
that came out in 2019, which was like kind of a big year for death metal bands from our scene. Like that was the Fetid album, the first Necrot. I think maybe Necrot's first album came out that year, or maybe might have been before. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people found out about us from that record.
Yeah, do you think Bandcamp made a big help on the on Witchvomit?
I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. I think probably $20 had most to do with that, and we were kind of playing more outside of our area in that time for the first time. So.
Oh, okay. So that you think that after that it helped accelerate the fan base just a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Because probably for the same reason we just said, they were seeing you live for the first time.
There's that. Like, I feel like that was just a big year for the newer generation getting into death metal. So
right,
the perfect storm of all that kind of shit. But
yeah, and then
like our most popular recording that we did.
And then do you have any preferred? I know you're gonna say new shit, but do you have any preferred release that you did do that you think like, well, this was really the one that was recorded the best? And
I think my favorite, I'll tell you one for each. My favorite Witchvomit is probably the Poison Blood EP, just because I think it came out like super aggressively, and that was kind of when I first figured out how to guitar solo and figured out about guitar effects.
Okay.
So I think, and also like kind of being able to talk to the engineer about what certain sounds we wanted, when before that we would just play and kind of let him do whatever, because I didn't really know what to say. Like, I want the vocals to have more reverb or whatever. I didn't even know about that.
You didn't know what that was, right?
Yeah, exactly. But on that one, it was kind of like we had been in the studio a few times, so we kind of had a little bit of experience, and I feel like we got exactly what we wanted with that.
Cool. You ever feel like you're chasing a dragon, or?
No, I mean, there's always shit I would change on everything, like after the fact. Like on that record, I'd do too much.
Yeah, so you said you were gonna say about other ones too. So what did you want to?
And my favorite Torture Act's the first album.
Okay.
I feel like that got just like recorded perfectly, and to me, it's like the collection of songs it reminds me so much of like early Deicide. I feel like he recorded it in that way, where it comes across like just super punchy and sharp and aggressive, and it just sounds like how we did totally.
Right, and considering the bands are sonically and musically different,
Yeah, but the same guy recorded both of those two albums. So.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So what about you, JG? Like, what would you say that your favorite recordings were that you were on or whatever?
Let's see. As far as Witchvomit goes, I think Poison Blood is actually my favorite. I just like the production. My bass tone on that one, I would change it now, but whatever.
Right.
Let's see, and the Witchvomit EP sounds really good too. I'd say for bass, my favorite is the last album. I just felt like my bass came out the best on that one.
Right.
For Torture Act, the first album I'm pretty satisfied with, but the vocals, I was still learning. I was still developing my style, so I would change some things on that. But Pit of Limbs, I really liked. I liked my vocals on the second album. It's just kind of, that's the thing for me. It's like
you like a little piece of each different thing.
Yeah, but the last album, I thought everything came together pretty good. Um, so yeah, it's just that's for me. It's like there's certain things on all of them where I'm like, there's some pros and cons, you know.
Right. And you didn't record with the same guy all the time.
No, we changed it up here and there.
Right. And then now you're feeling a little more comfortable, or
Oh yeah, I mean, it was always just let's have our songs ready and show up in the studio and just kind of see how it goes. It wasn't.
what about? I mean, we talked about the funeral sanctium, but what about the abhorrent rapture?
Yeah, that was recorded like in the heart of COVID time, and
Oh,
we were actually gonna try and do like our next album around then, and we had a tour canceled for the Very Deep album,
uh-huh.
so we didn't want to release another full album that was just kind of sitting there. So it was kind of just like, all right, let's record 4 songs to like put something out while everybody's just sitting at home. We needed a
Right.
project.
Yeah, and somebody was saying the poison blood was my intro to Witchvomit.
Cool, right on.
Yeah, man. And then I see my friend Scott. What's up, Scott? How's it going, man? Thank you for tuning in, brother. Fuck yeah, this is all death metal podcast shit, man. I mean, this is the apex of what the fuck I'm trying to do here. You know what I'm saying? These guys, have done a lot of shit, and like, I don't feel like, like this. I feel like I have to come on here and tell people like, check out the fucking different releases. You have multiple last releases. Then also you're talking about this different studios and the shows and some of the wild fucking times.
Dylan, I didn't eat the 12-egg omelet, but I did eat the steaks.
Right.
They're good.
He seems a little egg obsessed. I don't know what his deal is there,
Yeah,
but
he's kind of an egg beating son of a bitch.
Yeah.
What can you do?
he's an egg beater.
Kind of, yeah.
And then, are you guys into collecting records, shirts, any kind of things, or horror, or?
Yeah, for sure. I collect records mostly, but I'm not like a crazy diehard get original stuff. I just kind of buy records of like whatever I want, and if I can score an original at like a good price, then extra.
Are you more like a city to city guy, a Discogs guy at home?
Oh yeah, I like doing it in person.
In
I
person.
haven't bought shit on Discogs in a while. I did like in the height of my buying records, I would, but now, I mean, we have so many cool shops in town that I just like to go and like, I don't have anything in mind, to see what I find. And it's like, oh shit, there's like a cheap pressing of this album. I'll buy it. But
good used sections in these spots too, or?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah,
That's
I found
cool.
that shit. Actually, my friend got the Tortured Moans of Agony 7-inch. Isn't that your first release?
That's my first vinyl release. Not first release I put out were on cassette. So, but my first official release was Tortured Moans of Agony. But I didn't put my name on it because I thought Peaceville would sue me back then.
Well, my friend found that in Portland, used in a bin. So he was pretty stoked on that. But yeah, no, we always have like people sell their whole collection.
That's cool that they found that. I mean, that's a pretty wild animal out in the rare.
Totally, yeah.
And it came out really good. That was pressed at the same spot that made Seraphic Decay records. So that particular factory, Bill Smith Custom Records.
Nice.
The guy from Seraphic Decay gave me the hookup.
Cool. Yeah.
In a letter.
Great record scene here for sure.
Yeah. So what would like if you want to shout out any of the record stores or
Blackwater Records, Crossroads, Landfill Rescue Unit, City Noise Records, Second Avenue. Those are kind of big ones.
How about you, JG? You got any like guilty pleasure hobby beyond records, toys, horrors, whatever?
Let's see. Well,
dead bodies.
As far as music goes, I collect more tapes and CDs.
Okay.
Because CDs was kind of how I got into collecting music in the first place. So that's mainly my collection of music consists of that. I have a pretty small record collection, but it's mainly just like the standbys that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna listen to that shit all the time. So
Yeah.
I definitely have been picking up more new stuff here and there, record wise, because my girlfriend got me a record player, so it motivates me to buy more.
Right. Gotcha.
But I don't really like the space that all the records take up, so I don't really have room for it. So I go with the CDs and tapes more.
Right. Yeah, records are their own fucking space and entity. There's like a weird zone about them, you know?
I mean, they sound the best, and they're the coolest to like look through, and
You invest with them more because they only play for 20 minutes and you have to flip the fucker over, etc.
yeah, it's definitely like the coolest way to do it. But for me, it's a little inconvenient sometimes.
Understandable, you know? And then how does it feel when you get your own record? You're like, holy shit.
It's awesome. I mean, the first time was like I felt very accomplished. It was the first Torture Rack record.
Okay.
Like a test pressing, and I don't know. I always keep like, 3 or 4 copies of everything we have. So
Yeah.
it's maybe, the effect is worn off a little bit now, but I'm still always excited to see it and put it on.
Right.
Yeah, I'll keep extra copies, and like I'll hook up like a friend or something. Like, hey, here you go.
I mean, same with me. I mean, my Autopsy 7 inches only dissipated the last like 5 years. So like, I keep fucking weird amounts of shit for fucking eternity, you know.
Yeah, it's a good
Just a few extras here and there, just because I just didn't sell them or whatever. I open a package, I'm like, holy shit, there's a fucking Incantation record in here I put out 10 fucking years ago. It just never made it to my friend, you know.
Yeah. It's like it's not really doing too much good just sitting around, so might as well give it to somebody who will listen to it.
Exactly. Did you guys check out the record store at Preserving Underground when Torture Rack played here in October?
That place was killer.
Is that the upstairs?
Yeah.
I got Seth a Razor beanie, and I got him a Misfit shirt from you.
Very cool.
They had killer tapes, but I don't know. They were kind of expensive, but there was some rad shit.
Right. Any other horrors? Anything? Hobbies?
Oh yeah, I used to collect,
Ballet.
used to collect a lot of horror DVDs and stuff, which I still have, but I'm almost to the point where I'm like, man, I should just sell them or get rid of them because they're just taking up space. I don't really play my DVD player much anymore.
Yeah. It's a weird zone now.
Used to have VHS and all that shit, but I don't know. It just takes up space.
You didn't guys go with any of like the real sample deep shit, which is kind of cool, you know? Your songs are short, but you don't have like, you're not like trying to pad your shit with like 10,000 samples, you know?
No, we'll do a couple here and there just for atmosphere, but we'll let Mortician.
And if it's I go Mortician, they can have the samples.
Yeah.
All right, here's a question from Dylan, who knows much. Witchvomit played at a gym. How was that?
It was cool. It was the old gym that I used to go to where Casey works.
Okay.
Like during COVID when no venues were open, and the owner's a metalhead, and he likes our band, so he was like, if you guys want to play a show here, we get a PA, and so we did, and it was pretty funny. It was probably like, I don't know, 50 people.
Wow.
And it was a mix of our normal friends and fans, and then people that just go to that gym.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Were they like, holy shit, like you guys have a band, huh?
Yeah, there's some real awkward moshing going on.
There was that rock band Blackwater Holy Light. They played it too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, them? Okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
it was a weird mixed bill.
What was that girl's name? Elise, the drummer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was super cool.
Actually, Erica was playing with them at that point, too.
Oh, okay. That particular run or shows, you know?
Yeah, but it was fun. It was definitely I like doing weird shit like that every once in a while.
At the gym, like, you like play between like the dumbbells and the fucking,
There's photos of it, and it's like there's like monkey bar. We're playing like below the monkey bars. We got like chains hanging down and shit. It was
okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
But it was weird because it was like the first show playing after the COVID hit, so it just felt kind of weird,
Oh, I'm sure. And then, I mean, that was like, I don't know, like things very escalated very quick as far as like people getting out there and just, I would just say more people going to shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because as soon as COVID ended, it felt like everybody was like let out of their cage, basically.
Yeah, my social skills had plummeted at that point. So I remember
always.
I remember just talking to people like that I hadn't seen, and I was just like, man, I feel weird right now. But
Yeah.
I just felt awkward, I guess.
And
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
feel like
more places, like depending on how populated your area was, then you'd be differently affected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I
by
feel
me, it felt like COVID never even happened. Like people, and not that people didn't wear masks in the supermarket or something. They did, but like no one else did. No one gave a fuck, and it was real sparse, and nobody. But in the inner city, I still hear people being like, "COVID, oh my god, I was destroyed. I stayed in my house," and
yeah.
I'm like, "Holy shit, I can't even imagine. That must have been like a fucking prison,"
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but I was still working. We took maybe a month or two off jamming, but after a while, we're like, "Fuck this, man! If we die, we'll die doing what we love."
Right.
No, we got a lot done. Like it was good for us as far as writing, and like I think we all
I
took.
think that happened to a lot of bands. They
Yeah.
suddenly found some kind of calling, and
Like
they said, "You know what?
we don't have to rehearse for a show. We can just write new music.
Right."
Yeah.
Or try to write a fucking release because there's a show coming up in 6 months from now, and you should have new releases and new
Yeah, well,
shirts.
we had two releases that came out during that time. Like Pit of Limbs was recorded like right before COVID.
Right.
And the War Rapture thing was during that, so it was like we had shit coming down the pipe,
Yeah. I mean, you got, like, as a fan, I was being hit left and right with, like, Witchvomit, Torture Rack, and other bands from the area, too, And some of the bands you played with on those flyers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're Fetid and this and that. This was a cool
We were all
picture.
busy around.
This was a cool picture. You just chilling.
Yeah, that was the recording of the Funeral Sanctum. That's
Okay.
our boy Evan, who records all of our shit.
Okay, he's the studio engineer?
Yep.
Cool. Definitely. And this is the spot?
That's the spot.
Gotcha. So that roof there, is that some special acoustics? Is that the room you guys record in? Or?
I think so. Well, that padding at least. I don't know about the other shit.
It's some
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a reflection. And then you sent me this black and white.
Oh yeah, that was on our East Coast tour, like end of 23. We did like 4 shows with Left Cross
Okay.
out there, and I think that might have been New York.
Oh, okay. It looked like New York. I was gonna ask.
At TVI, I'm pretty sure.
Right. And you, what do you think of the New York scene?
I mean, every show we've played there has been cool, but I don't know. A lot of people standing around and
Right.
not as rowdy as some places.
yeah.
Here's another one. I don't know where this one is, but
Might just be that night, It's like you
Yeah.
never know what kind of crowd you're gonna get.
same tour.
No, that's actually us playing with Deceased in Seattle
Oh, okay. Cool.
quite a bit earlier.
The BC Ridge days.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that thing. So how many? Yeah, like what do you use? You played with like different instruments through the little live career.
Yeah, I think we're always kind of switching it up. We'll settle on something for a couple years and then get sick of it.
Right, and you get a scenario where these clubs and you go and they're already backlined and they have what you like, or do you show up with your own amps, or how do you? How's the scene?
It depends on where you're going. Like if we fly somewhere, then yeah, we're not
Obviously.
amps, but it's not been obvious before. We actually the Metal Threat we played.
You showed up with your amps.
No, the dude thought he asked where our amps and drums were.
Oh shit.
Like,
Okay.
I was Blue, and he was like, "Oh fuck!" He's like, "Do you know anybody here?" Like, no, that's your job.
Right.
But no, yeah. Usually we try and if we're driving, we'll bring our own shit. If not, take whatever. But honestly, a lot of bands play with the same stuff. It's like the same PV amps. So
I know. I figured that.
usually the sound is going to be the same.
Yeah, give me an Ampeg 8x10. I'm usually good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the preferred out on the road? What do you see the most? Marshalls or what?
It's usually the PVs, but yeah, Marshall is
Peavies?
like, yeah, would be the second for sure.
This was a cool photo. I really like. It has a vintage ass look to it.
Oh
Looks
yeah,
like Will Romer was with you at this stage because that one guy in the corner, but obviously that ain't Will.
that's me. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that was in was that like Belgium or some shit?
I think that was somewhere in Germany.
nice.
With that's us in Mortiferum.
Okay. Cool. This is a sick
And,
photo.
that guy on the very top, the bald guy, he was our driver.
Tilo.
Okay.
He was really cool.
How did I know that for some reason? That's cool though. So this is you in Mortiferum, and you guys are in where? Belgium?
I think Germany.
Germany? Okay. Remember the city or anything? Or
I think it was called Kassel.
oh, Kassel. Yeah, I know that spot.
And I sold a drunk dude the same shirt twice in a row.
Oh shit, yeah.
That was a big win.
That BC Rich looks fucking yeah. So let's see here. Torture Rack played in with Mortician in Portland. I do have that flyer.
Yeah.
JG, what were the best what were your best skateboarding moments? Is skateboarding and metal a good mix?
I don't
Sounds
know.
like you broke your arm or something.
No. I skated for like 20 years. It was fucking great and met a lot of people. I actually met Dylan.
Through that.
And a lot of people. The best times were just like making our own concrete stuff and building our own ramps and getting drunk and blasting metal.
Right, setting up your own like little rail slides and shit.
No, we used to build like concrete stuff, straight, shovels and wheelbarrows, and build our own little skate parks and shit.
Right.
And I don't know, just lots of fucking good times skating.
And it sounds like you guys used to jam at Dylan's because you kept saying Dylan. So you mean Dylan? This Dylan?
Yep, head split Dylan.
Didn't Torture Rack form because Pierce broke his leg skateboarding?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's true. Pierce was primarily known as a drummer, and he was hanging out with us, and we were all skating, and he fucked up his ankle really bad, and he couldn't play the drums.
Right.
And Seth was known primarily as a guitarist, and they were like, Seth was like, "Hey, I'll play some drums," and Pierce was fucking around with guitar because he couldn't play drums, so they started jamming, and they were jamming down in our basement where we would all mess around, and I heard them, and I was like, "Oh, it sounds pretty good," so I brought my bass down there, and then we wrote those demo songs like the first week.
Oh, cool. And then I didn't ask about like other bands you guys were in.
Well, Dylan and Seth were in Cemetery Lust and Necrodrums, right. And Pierce was in another band with Dylan called Compulsive Slasher, and he was playing in a couple other bands, but he was just doing drums.
Mm. And then, I mean, we got to give a shout out to your current drummer and his band.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hemorrhoid.
Yep.
And they got a lot of love this year, I noticed, on a lot of tops, you know?
Yeah, album is fucking awesome.
They're sick.
And then he plays guitar instead of drums in the band, though.
Yeah.
Because that's what I saw in New York, obviously.
Yep.
Know? Which was cool. And then it was cool to see that many people cared about an underground band in New York, just to be honest.
Evolution of Necrodrums, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
With bass.
Then you're with this guy right here. I don't know him, but...
Oh, yeah. We met that guy. He was some fucking derelict that we met. Yeah.
Right.
And, he gave us some drugs and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I think I know him.
He
yeah.
turned out to be pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it worked out kind of cool, you know? So,
that was a sick show.
Yeah, that was cool. I had other photos from the Albany show, too. Just us chilling and shit.
Yeah,
and
that microphone, though, at Ralph's.
Oh, yeah, I remember. It was shocking you.
Yeah.
And here's one of me, you, and Casey right there.
Oh, yeah.
So it was cool, you know. It was like it was cool to see the bands back to back. For me, it was amazing, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's no shows in Albany, but barely. So like to see something
was
over there with like 3 to 5 death metal bands is like whoa, you know.
That was
It's mostly all hardcore there.
Yeah, I can see that.
It'll be like Sanguisugabog and 4 hardcore bands or something. Or it's always they put Stabbing on, but they put them on at 6:30 in the afternoon, and I'm just like, fuck, it's fucking. I should have left fucking an hour ago and never make it now, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, like Albany's a weird spot. So if you once you said, oh, we had a good show there, and I thought there was a lot of fucking people there, a lot of younger people, and I was like, holy shit, dude, I can't even fucking believe this, how much better it got here from when I was younger, you know.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. I thought it was rad. It was probably better than our show in New York City, honestly.
Yeah, it might have been. I mean, the people were like younger. The people were younger there. I know that, you know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was eyeballing the crowd. Is this a photo you guys took out on that same tour?
Yeah, that's in front of Tony Soprano's house.
Right. I recognized this right away when you fucking showed me this. I was like, oh, I know that fucking house, dude.
Yeah, we had to. And then we went to the Bada Bing as well.
Well, the meat market was in my hometown, but they ripped it down immediately after the show was over, which is crazy because that could have been a fucking museum of the Sopranos.
Yeah, we would have gone there. We would have got some.
Exactly, you know? And I used to look at that sign all the time because it would be out still, like even when they weren't filming there. And like I remember I remember seeing that sign there before it opened, and we were like, how the fuck is this place going to make out with Santos right down the block, which is another meat market, basically. I was like, yo, they're going to fail, you know? And I was thinking that was a real fucking meat market at the time, you know? So eventually they had closed off the street and started filming the fucking, you know, episodes there. And I was like, oh, that's a fucking prop, dude. Holy shit, dude, you know? Like, I was like, yo, they're going to fail because they're like, Santos is going to blow them out of the water, dude, you know?
They did good.
Yeah, they did fucking way better. I think Santos is closed, man, you know? So, yeah. What will Torture Rack release? What will the next Torture Rack release be like?
It's pretty ignorant. There's a lot of short, punky songs, and then a couple more kind of brutal death metal songs.
Cool.
But yeah, we're doing a split with Sequestrum.
Oh, okay.
Future, so it'll be like a split LP. So you know, maybe 15, 20 minutes from each band.
Cool.
But yeah, we got all the music written for it. Just practicing.
I heard JG had a good air fryer asshole recipe, casserole recipe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a family recipe.
Check the Bandcamp for that. You could buy it for $19.95. Cam, I would suck shit at skateboard or would go downhill and beat myself. Yeah, New Zealand. Yeah, that Jeff is from New Zealand, dude. So that's cool. So yeah, we can't wait for the new shit too. You know. So we're gonna wrap up pretty soon. But what about the future of a new Witchvomit?
We got nothing yet, honestly. That last album took kind of a while to write, so we've just been focusing on playing. And I've got some riffs and stuff, but we haven't really started writing anything new. But it's something that'll happen.
Gotcha.
More evil shit.
Maybe we'll play a song for people, and then we'll come back and talk for a few, and then I'll wrap this up.
Right on.
Let's see here. There was a lot of videos uploaded by a name Felicia Gaggin. So I'm like,
shit, yeah.
I'm like, cool. I know this name from like social media somewhere. First of all,
yeah, she was
and I was like, that's a really good name too. It's kind of funny, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, she was there for a lot of sick shows.
Yeah, she's cool.
Let's see.
I haven't seen her in a while.
So this is Witchvomit performing Fevers and Torments at the High Line.
All right.
All right, so I saw a different drummer there too.
Nope, no, that's him.
He just had hair then.
Oh, okay.
We were all 20 pounds lighter.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. So
Yeah.
we're going to send a shout out to all the people that did watch Death Metal Podcast tonight, because normally I would like to acknowledge all the people that sat here for fucking hours watching us talk, you know? So thank you, and shout out to Jason Shull, Death of Vocation, Francisco Venga, Evan Williams, No Balone, Disgustor, Vacuous Depths, Bitter H2O, Tenebris Morte. Who else here? Chris Herrera, Zach, Leslie, Madrid, Zach again, Cheeseburger from the Catacomb. Isn't that the backpack fanny packer? Mark Riddick with the awesome question. Richard Santos, Nick Kamos. Who else? The King of the Swing. Mike Violate. I didn't know you were here, brother. Sorry. Who else? James G. Warrior, SJ11 Morbid, Joshua Hutton, Aaron Fogg, Zach, Accursed Womb, Paul Kimball, Carpenter Corpse, who the fuck else? Just saw the name. Eric Bloom. Everybody that tunes into Death Metal Podcast, the bottom line, you know? Chris Grant. Thank you for everybody that tuned into this fucking episode and this interview, because it makes me feel like I'm not alone caring about, you know, like the inner workings of the two bands, Witchvomit and fucking Torture Rack. Because you guys both made really good fucking releases, you know? They're original, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't chintz out on the fucking art, you know what I mean? Everything seems, you know, kind of like, I want to say thematic, but not, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like it's kind of flowing in a certain direction, you know? So shout out to Ramiro Lopez, Crawling in Vomits. Who else? Jason, FEM. See Mark Riddick there again. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate your question. Andres Peters.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. That dude rules. Thank you, Richard Santos. Thank you for everybody that fucking tunes in, man. Kier. Yeah, appreciate. You know, like I want to, you know, I'm trying to hit the underground people that have a lot of shit under them, like a lot of history under them. And you guys do, man. You played in Mexico, you played in Europe, you've been on a few labels, you know what I mean? You're staying solid with the releases and shit, you know? It doesn't, I mean, even though maybe you do have a side band or two, it feels like you guys are more focused on just the two bands and like really like moving ahead and forward with those, you know?
Trying, man.
So that's good. I mean, that's, in a way, I think that it doesn't water anything down, you know what I mean? It helps keep the things like full strength fucking whiskey, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Try and keep it pure.
Yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, I think if somebody has too many side bands, it's like they end up watering themselves down in a way and looking different, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't feel that way for you guys. And then even like, you know, I see people even throwing little shade at $20 spin for some reason. I don't know if it's just because they do crazy looking vinyls or what the fuck the deal is.
They got some corny bands, but what are you
They
going
got
to do?
a lot of bands, yeah.
Yeah. That's how you keep paying the bills.
Yeah, and then promotionally wise, I mean, they're with the Bandcamp daily sometimes. So, like, you know, not all record labels get shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
So they're definitely, you know, they're helping with the exposure, and, you know, they put their money where their mouth is with their fucking releases. So that's the bottom line, too.
Yep.
And even having Dylan on your side, too. I mean, he's completely prolific fucking releaser, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. He helped get that shit started for us, so.
Right. Really got the shit around the world in a way, you know?
For sure.
And I'm sure he probably even had a, like, kind of a play in getting it to Europe, and then the bands, you know, and labels from Europe hearing and saying, oh, you know what, let's get these guys to fucking come and play over here, you know?
Yep. Yeah. David helped us out a lot, too.
Yeah. Anything in the pipeline that you could see yourself maybe doing or being on like a Euro anything, or Japanese, Australian, Russian?
We're trying to get Witchvomit back to Europe sometime soon. We had like a couple things fall through, so
okay.
We were supposed to be back out there this year, but who knows now. And same with Japan. We're going to try and do that soon. We've had an offer, so hopefully, yeah, do more with both bands. We need to get Torture Rack on a longer European thing too. So
Iceland, you know.
yeah, maybe. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean it's cool.
Yeah, but
Torture Rack,
yeah,
Malefic, Humiliation CD reissue out mid-February. There you go. That's with Head Split Records too, so look out for that. And no problem. I mean, I want to tell the people, man, about Jeffrey Dahmer. Exactly. So, like, basically, you know, the show is all about the underground death metal podcast, and it is about the chat too. I mean, does anyone have any questions that we didn't ask? I mean, I'll give you guys a second in the chat. Maybe you have something you want to ask these guys or ask about the scene or anything.
Go nuts in the
Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate it. None from you though, Dylan. I think you told your funny story.
Yeah,
you're cut off. Your chat privileges are cut off, but I won't ban you like Francisco banned me. So anybody have any questions about Witchvomit or Torture Rack? You also Witchvomit, 2 words. I figured that out over the course of time. Yeah, it's not Witchvomit, 1 word.
Yeah.
Favorite tour story?
I don't know.
Nah.
I don't know.
It's too much.
Just you go from one city to another, and there's not really too.
Gas station, fast food, band.
Right. That's what I noticed being on the road too.
Hey, going to Europe was sick. We fucking saw the Eiffel Tower. That was sick.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Shit like that. Actually. You know. Yeah. Other than that, like chilling at the beach. We played a festival in Hawaii. That was pretty badass because we got to just hang out at the beach all day and then go play the show and then go back to the beach at night. So that was
that's cool. Yeah, that's pretty fucking dope, you know?
Yeah, so you try to relax in between the shows if you can.
I think we could let this one in. How was the extremely rotten production shop bathroom?
Disappointingly clean.
It wasn't very rotten, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Way too clean and small.
Right. And then Metal Matt saying, thanks for helping keep real death metal alive with Witchvomit and Torture Rack.
We'll keep it going. So
any other questions before we end this, you friggin' freaks? So, you know, I appreciate that you guys were on to answer my, you know, spur in the moment fucking questions, you know?
Thanks for having us, dude.
Yeah, man. What do you feel Spotify helped the bands too?
No, probably not.
No? More the grassroots of like the Dylans?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the best. I mean, hey, if you want to check out the band through Spotify, go for it. I do that sometimes.
In my research for the show, I played some Spotify in my house and blasted both bands. And then, but then I went through like the discogs.com and went to the Metal Archives. You know what I mean? So like I go through like all the different little.
It's another tool, you know.
Yeah. Bandcamp, you know what I mean? And then, you know, like you looked at the song titles, listen to songs on there, you know, I just go YouTube, you know, like go through all the different shit, you know? I don't watch anyone else's like interviews or anything. I don't want to ask any questions. Like, I try to ask, I don't say fucking questions to everybody, you know? What's your equipment? What got you into it? You know, how's your scene? Where's your record stores? You know what I mean? Because I think these are relevant, especially like the record store shit.
I think any label we've been on has helped us exponentially more than Spotify has. That's where most people find us. It's from the Head Split or the $20 spin, you know, Bandcamp.
Extremely Rotten.
Yeah, Extremely Rotten. Buy the record.
Yeah, those labels helped you more than like a streaming service would help you.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we got someone asking about influences.
Influences. Yeah, I wanted to ask this too, but I didn't because it's too generic.
Early Torture Rack was influenced by mainly like Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, Coffin, Cyanide, Winter, and then, you know, some punk influence like Discharge. And then it kind of, after the demo, I kind of brought more stuff in like Blasphemy and Tygo.
I felt the blasphemy on you guys.
Yeah, stuff like that. So, I mean, those are the main ones. Early Immolation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I felt that too, actually.
Oh, yeah. Mortician, of course.
I felt the Mortician, obviously, you know?
Yep. Repulsion.
Great work, guys. Always true history for death metal. That's what the show's about, too. I want to say thanks. It's bands like you guys that keep my passion for death metal going, because I've been banging death metal forever, and you guys rule. Hell yeah, I interviewed Cyanide when I was a teen. Cool, man. Awesome, dude.
Man.
What about Witchvomit, Tony influences? What brought,
Like Autopsy, Mental Funeral, Early Incantation, Immolation, Soulside Journey, Dark Throne, Like an Ever-Flowing Stream, Left Hand Path. So yeah, European, American death metal.
Right.
And some black metal too, like Rotting Christ. That was a big one.
Who drew the logo for the Witchvomit?
Vinny, the drummer.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Same logo pretty much the whole game, or?
Yeah, same logo.
Cool. And then what about the different artists you use? I'm sorry, like I didn't ask, like when I hit and cover to cover. You want to shout out some of the artists that did the covers for the releases on you guys?
Matt Sticker's done all of the Witchvomit art.
Okay.
From the second demo on, and then from Torture Rack we had Matt Hopkins, different guy, and Rock and David. So
Right.
we've had a couple different people. Yeah.
Those were all cool, man. They're good. Yeah, man. It was a Sunday night DMP. We're just about to wrap it up. Derek, how's it going, brother? So yeah, we're just about to wrap it up, actually, my man. Yeah, sick fucking answers. You guys were awesome. Yeah, you're feeling the servant of the warsman action and medieval mutilation. So they're definitely feeling the winter vibe that you mentioned,
Yeah.
So yeah, as time goes on, we want to do, just as a public service announcement, that more death metal podcasts are going to be about like interviews, basically. That way I bring on people and we talk about the bands. It was cool that you guys were in the same room to do it. That was actually it worked out pretty well. You had a good sound when we checked it yesterday, so I was like, it'll be fine, So, and then do you do practicing at the house or?
No, we got a space down the road a little bit.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we don't want to put people through that.
You want to kill the neighbors?
Well, yeah. I mean, I got like a little practice at home that I fucking noodle around on, but nothing too crazy.
Gotcha. What do you think about electronic drum sets and Fruity Loops?
I mean, they're fun as fuck. I kind of want to get one, but it's definitely it doesn't translate very well.
Oh, the playing ones.
Yeah.
I mean, even like the digital ones that you just program on your fucking computer.
None of us do that.
None of you fucked with that?
No. We just do it right in the same room, pretty much.
Gotcha. And what about your drummer? Like, what's his like? What would you feel like his influences are?
For which band?
Both.
Oh, for Torture Rack, Seth, I think.
He loves the Deicide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
mainly Deicide and I don't know. Yeah, maybe a little Impetigo in there or something.
Yeah.
Why do they call him Crystal Seth?
It's a good rhyme.
It's just a good rhyme? Okay.
Crystal
No
Seth.
connotations to Crystal.
I don't think he's done it.
No, I don't think he's a
Okay. I didn't think so either. He didn't look like one. He had teeth,
He's too buff.
Yeah, he's too jacked for that.
He was jacked up,
Yeah.
Oh, you've been watching for a while? That's cool, man. Good. That's good, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate everyone that watches fucking Death Metal Podcast. I thought these guys would be fucking sick guests, and you're cool dudes. Thank you, both of you guys, for coming on and talking for so long and shit. All the photos you sent. I appreciate that. That was helpful. Like they were coming last minute, and I was still like, fuck yeah, there's a lot of fucking meat here, and we'll show as much as I can during the show, and you know what I mean? A lot to talk about just through the photos, you know what I mean? I show these photos, and then you can, between the death metal chat alumni, and then also shout out, like, again, to your labels and Head Split and $20 Spin for sharing our shit, which is cool, It just makes me feel a little more validated that it's like, okay, the label actually gives a fuck, and because I don't usually put the credits of the bands that I played on here, and because I'm not really looking to get my fucking back patted. I just want to like talk to people on here that are cool and play some cool fucking death metal. That's it,
Yeah, totally.
Nothing else, man. Just real fucking death metal for real fans, And you guys embody that, so that's why the fuck you were on here,
Appreciate
yeah.
it, man.
So appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
So
man.
we're going to sign out, though, and then I'll put a song or something on to sign out. Thank you for everybody that tuned in to fucking Death Metal Podcast tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the fucking interview. These guys are fucking maniacs. They did a lot. Buy their shit. Go to Bandcamp, buy some stuff. Check out their websites. I saw a bit closed down Big Cartel, but check out their ERP for some of their stuff and support their label. And then buy their download and blast that shit. Annoy the neighbors, man. Go to the show when they tour. Torture Rack.
Torture Rack.
Torture Rack's coming up. Here's the tour flyer. So here's the dates. If you're on this side of the world, or let me see where the fuck it is. I might have deleted it already. No, I didn't. So this is they're on the second half of the Undergang, and they'll be mostly on the East Coast here. So North Carolina, New York, Massachusetts, Maryland, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Kentucky. And they said Kentucky rips, so
Sick.
Yeah, man. So that should be sick. I'll be at one or two of those shows for sure.
Right on. We'll see you then.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Fucking Death Metal Podcast signing out. Later, guys. So this has been another fucking sick ass episode of Death Metal Podcast. Again, we're moving towards interviews and talk on here, and I'm trying to, even though we did play a few fucking songs and shit, I want to move more towards, talking to the bands and find it. It might not just be bands; it could be artists, it could be promoters, it could be things that involve with death metal, fanzine writers, like maybe some book writers, whatever, man. And then I wouldn't mind incorporating adjacent shit like black metal, So I really would not mind putting a little more black metal in Death Metal Podcast as well. More interviews. I know, man. That's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to, I think these interviews are more captivating than playing fucking a bunch of shit, Incubus fucking demos on here, Like, listen to those on your own fucking time, So tonight we had Torture Rack and Witchvomit. Let's see if I have a short song to go out with. Let me see here. We did too much of that.